Little children, let us not love with just words, but with truth and action. Paraphrasing that from 1 John 3:8. Little children, let us not love with word or with tongue, but in action and in truth, because in practice and in sincerity, because acts of love are more than words. Amen. Good morning, Jill. I love you, brother. I don't know how to show that in actions, but I do. It's good to see you here. If you want, would you want to come in if you have the free time? We can go through some uh, Bible, any verse you'd like. Because I know you haven't been streaming for a bit, and I'd love to give you the opportunity to preach. So, by all means, Jill, you're more than welcome. I'll post a link, actually. That's all work. That's my action, right? That's my action. I'll show you that I love you. I'll post a link. I forgot to post it anyway. It kind of feels like less love worthy now because I forgot to post it in the first place, but I post it just for you. Because usually I do my little monologue. I'm walking through the Jorb. Links are banned from the live chat. Not my links. My links are never banned. I got a sweep block up here. Maybe dust mop a bit in some places. That's not too bad today. Definitely in spots I can't get with my vacuum too, which is good. My steps are a lot heavier. I think it's because of the shoes I'm wearing. They're pretty flat shoes. They're here, I'll show you guys. The Batman shoes. Just slip-ons today. Look, I got flamingo socks. I know, I'm a badass. They're ugly socks. Batman and flamingo socks, that's right. I know how to clash with fashion. I don't know what's on the agenda today. I really do want to keep it biblical since it is the Sabbath. My heart goes out for concern to those how I've been watching Sky Out and Praise's channel. For the most part, as brothers. I watched some of Sky Out. Haven't been able to get to Praises. Oh, my broom's not here. This is the bad one. Thought my dust mop would be up here too. Must have brought it downstairs. Sweep over here. And I hope they do well and their channels succeed. Sky, I'll give a small reprimand for, only because of it's not the images of the figure that's the real problem, but the suggestiveness, the lewdness of those images that you use. I rebuke those images because they are lewd and sexual in nature, which we ought to appreciate on women, but more towards because it's objectifying in some sense. It's not wrong to notice these features, but to express them. As when we're as Christians supposed to do the modest dressing and such, we must reflect this thus. And if you're going to have a channel that's going to be like that, you need to be more modest. And as I guess if I had to give a good one for praise, it'd be watch those who watch your channel more. Pay attention to what's going on. You might want to be more involved with what's going on in the YouTube sphere is what I'd say. Just as a little friendly, I tried to get back at you. I know you called me that one day, yesterday I think it was. I was busy, so I'll try to get at you when I can, brother. Hope all is well. I haven't seen your episode yet, so God bless. I don't know if they even watch this. They might watch this. I don't know. Phrase watches my stuff. I'll have to tell him and show him the next time I see him. Alright, that's no, I'm not gonna need that. Give me 1 quick second, fellas. Alright, thanks. Alright. Grabbing my broom and dustpan and taking things upstairs for work. Soap dispensers. I'm sorry, I haven't looked at side chat yet. But yes, I guess I can always make that verse I said this morning in John, 1 John 3. I forgot the verse number. I just know it's in 1 John 3. It might be verse 18 or 10. I can't recall. But to show love in action and not in word. That's kind of tough for us to do online, isn't it? Because all we live by is by our words. And by our behavior. So I guess that counts as actions. So how do we show our love to one another? Is with our behavior and our words online. Besides like actions that we can do depending on the circumstances, I don't know. But mostly by things we say online and keeping hold to them, being honest and true. And I always try to be honest and correct myself whenever I feel like I'm in error. Just go over this way. I guess I'd ask a question to you guys. What are some actions that you can do to better spread the love to one another? What more? We could fellowship more. Communication is always good. That's another way, having conversations, talking, getting everything off everyone's chest. Talk about, this is what I don't like with you. This is what I see that I think is stumbling you. And that's what I mean by that. That's what I don't like about you. This is what I see is potentially stumbling you. You can fix this, depend on this. I love it when people do that with me. And I might be harsh and brash to it like a baby unaccepting of new food, right? Because that's what babies do. They don't want anything. I don't know about this. No. Then, you do the whole airplane thing. You have to make it sweet for them. I guess I'm just a big old baby, right? Make a little joke. So let's try to love one another again. Because it seems like even with all this COVID nonsense and everyone's being cooped up, tensions are high, and we're releasing those tensions on each other instead of in better ways. We can do so in counter arguments, but they have to be genuine counter arguments. We can't allow these arguments to really get personal unless we're really friendly with each other like that, and we can accept the personal banter back and forth. But we must not use this banter in a sense to harm, because again, with the moment you do that, you're just screwing yourself in the foot, and that's not going to do good. I think I got to change a little bit of my immature way that I do seem to still have lingering. I have some still growing up to do. I probably should be less joking, take things in a more serious tone. When I do sometimes, I just don't do it all the time. So, but perhaps that sends the wrong message. I don't know what message it sends, but it sends apparently a negative one. Or a positive one. I really don't know. People are weird. Half of you, all of you, none of you, all a big question mark, right? A lovely question mark. Oh yeah, I muted it. See what's going on in the side chat here. I like that talks. That actually does sound pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, Jesus is Lord. I might just start going by that because I like the way that sounds. Talks. Talks. I really do like that. Talks. I'm not gonna lie. Tog. Tog or talks. Guys, we gotta have a vote. Vote 1 for talks. Vote 2 for Tog. This is gonna happen. Let's do this. I rest this fiend. Yeah, it seems like you guys are kind of going back and forth. Hello, Ox. Just randomly in the fray. Exactly, yeah. It's better to talk to others than about others. Or at least about others when they know you're talking about them, you know? Because sometimes there are some things you can't directly say to one's face. And the best way to say it is to somebody else. It's like you need that medium. Because and we do this again. The reason, hey, Ronan, good to see you. A reason I think why we do it is because, again, we don't want to actually cause malicious harm. And I think that's why people tend to, like, I'm a big tiptoer around certain things. And then I might slip out later or something because I can't hold the peace anymore. And then that usually lands me in poo-poo doo-doo when I should have just said something in the first place. But then, like Socrates in a way, I hold my tongue because I don't want to make it sound like I'm making a knowledge claim when it could be merely just a stupid opinion. So if it's something that I like could be held as a regard of opinion, that's not necessarily true, why even bring it up in the first place? I just see it as a small bias that I tend potentially have towards this person for whatever reason, comparing it to myself perhaps, or a standard, maybe the Christian standard, and that's why it upsets me. Or maybe it's something out of character that they do, and it just doesn't seem, or I don't know this aspect of the character or agree with it. It's funny when you see people in a new light, and I think that's happened with me on some occasions with multiple people. I guess a good example would be the channel, the Raging Atheist, the Rage. I don't really remember what it's called. I know he changes it. Um, like I'm on his. I said this yesterday. I'm on his intro, right? And yet it's so weird because I don't know how to perceive it. I don't know if it's like negative that I'm there or positive that I'm there. It's one of those, or it's just that I happen to be there. It could just be by chance. But yeah, it's one of those weird things. Like I don't know. I've had my ups and downs, I guess, with a lot of people's. But the good thing is it seems to always rebound better. I always seem to tend to make up with people somehow. And I wish I could spread that to others. And I guess that's what I'm trying to do is that people need to make amends, you know. No more grudges or gets things off chest or whatnot. But I think someone came in the backstage. Give me a second. Hey, Ronan. Good to see you. What am I looking for? I hate it when it does this. I wish it just started off like this. Oh, go ahead, I
No,
guess.
I wanted to ask you, like, what are you referring to? I wanted to ask if you were referring to his opening.
Yeah, his opening.
Oh, like, what's up, you heathens and demons and something like that?
No, no, not that one. Like
Okay.
his intro video.
No, I don't recall it right now. I just remember him saying.
When he starts up the video, he usually does the little song thing,
No, I'm trying
right?
to remember it. I know there's a video, but I can't remember it right. But go ahead, please. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
one of his most recent ones. You're right. I thank you. It's good to explain this. So I'm not talking about things that he says in his intro. It's a video clip of a past conversation that we're in, kind of like how he did the montage with Smokey. I'm just in the montage essentially. So I'm in Nakasuchi's montage, and it's nothing said that's being bad or negative. I'm just a part of it. Like, but they're speaking to me, and it's just I don't know if it's positive or negative, and it gives me like I said, I remember giving the rush of anxiety from when I first started because that's when I first came on YouTube was when I was in Nakasuchi. So just seeing that it like gave me anxiety goosebumps, and it just how far I've like kind of come along in the sense of talking to people. But yeah, I just listening to that, I can tell that I'm still kind of a jokey guy. I'm still clowning around, so to speak. And I'm thinking about that too. And then I see all that. I'm like, I've had my ups and downs. I'm like, how is this supposed to be perceived? Is this viewed as a positive or a negative? Because I honestly don't know. I just know that I'm there in the montage. Like, and I don't know if it's just by chance or if it's actually just because, hey, it's Todd. It's just one of those weird things. I don't know. And it seems like a
Well,
weird thing to not ask because it's just, why would I
well,
ask? Because I
well,
don't think there's a
you,
need to.
I mean, you do realize that some people are going to like you and some people are not going to like you, right?
Oh yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, warning about the perspective of how it's viewed. I'm just
Well,
waiting.
well, no, okay. There's a famous line in Shakespeare's play Hamlet, and it goes, "There is nothing either good or bad, but only thinking makes it so." So people who support you are going to think, "Oh, that's good." or depending on context, right?
Yeah, that's
Or
what I'm
if
saying.
they
Yeah, I
don't,
don't
if
know the
they,
context either.
yeah, if they don't support you, they're going to say, well, that's bad, or vice versa, all the way around. Yes.
Something
So
like that, yeah.
yeah, so we'll put it this way: it's more important for you to be yourself than to consider what others think about you.
No, it's more or less it's more or less just a morbid curiosity of which camp people fall in.
Well, like I said, but you don't know
But
who it is or what they believe in, so they're going to think either one way or the other. That's
hmm
for sure. That's for sure. Or they'll be indifferent.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's I said that's where it's just the morbid curiosity of how is that being perceived by people. But then again,
Oh,
more or less is how do I perceive it, right? So as I'm perceiving it, I use my own bias about myself and project that onto others. And if I see it this way, perhaps they see it this way as well. And for the individuals that may see it the way I see it, I at least know what I can change for those individuals.
oh, okay,
For
okay,
for
okay,
you can see
okay.
yourself better. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, put it this way: I'm only here because you've seen. Do you have two? Do you have your YouTube on? Because I'm muted on my YouTube,
Echo,
so you're echoing. So it's either you got it off of mute
my
or
headset.
oh, it's your headset. Oh,
It
okay.
might be my headset. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that'll fix it. I don't know. Sorry
Oh,
if I'm
okay.
echoing.
Well, no, no.
If it fixed
Again,
it, I don't know if it fixed it. Might have been my headset. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, no. Like I was saying, right? On the one hand, I understand that you're curious, right? What do people think about me, right? But on the other hand, myself, I'm here because you're not a jerk, dude. And yeah, yeah, I upset you. You mute me. You remove me from the room. But that's your room. You're the host. I can respect that. But you're not like, well, Smokey Saint, for example, a petty boor, right? I don't talk to him anymore. I mean, I only talked to him 3 times, but I don't talk to him because of his character. You know what I mean? But I'll talk to you because hey, you have a different, perspective, and I can appreciate that, right? Because it's different from what I see or how I understand things. Yes, but I'm not saying I'm better than you. I am saying you have a different perspective that I don't know about, right? And I'm just curious to understand, how you perceive things or anyone. Yes, until they so-called cross that line, and then I leave them alone, man, because no, there's no point
Talking
in
to them
that.
more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's just for me, I'm uncomfortable with it. So like, yeah, versus becoming more than annoyed, I'll just go away. So, but like I said, it's like to me, I sense you're a young person. You're still not that aware, mature, or wise, but that takes years of experience. I'm not saying you will never get there, but
I
like,
feel honestly like by maturity, I feel like I'm a teenaged,
yeah,
like
you
a
have that.
kid.
Yeah, you
Like I
have
feel
that.
like I had a teenager who had a baby in the sense, even though I'm like almost 30, and I feel that way. Like in reality, I'm doing fine. It's more just of that, that good hope, that good fear that's instilled into us that just drives you to do better. It's just
In
because
other
you
words,
have responsibility,
you enjoy challenging yourself.
some sense, yeah. But
Yeah, well, no, no, I'm saying in other words. I'm saying in other words because you have this morbid curiosity, and that's the
yeah,
challenge. You want to find out. That's challenging yourself.
I was just using that as like an example.
Well, yeah,
But
of
yeah,
course, we can use that. Obviously, that's no problem. I'm aware.
um, but I guess to kind of get back to what I was talking about, if I can remember, to be honest, there was something along in that goes into something that I thought of. Someone told me the other day, or I saw in a comment. I don't know if it was on my channel or another one, but I just remember this comment, and it was something about like trying to help people who want to be sick in the sense of viewing Christians as, you know, sick in that mental capacity, right? I think, and I think it comes into the sense of like, well, if you're trying to help people out of their delusion because you think they're delusional, and you might want to help them to perceive reality better, you have to make sure, one, that they want to be dispelled or challenged in that way. Otherwise, it's like that same argument I think that most non-believers would agree with, in the sense of how religion is forced onto people. I think you can get that same aspect of people trying to put that unbelief onto people. And I
Yeah,
just think there needs to be a little bit more
no, you're
less of that,
absolutely no, no, no.
that aspect, because it just it creates that authoritative power, like you're saying you're in the wrong, instead of it takes away the equality in a sense,
No, I think
because
you're right. Well, I think you're right. Okay, I think you're right because people who don't believe, I know many of them, right? And I don't talk to many of them because they have this, uh, I guess, uh, anger about belief in a god or higher power. And I've explained it to them. But no, no, no. We're just ignorant. We're learning about these things. People that already believe have that sense of comfort in that tradition. And that's a good thing, but it doesn't mean that they're better than anybody else because you're not better than they are. And they
Here,
disagree with me because,
I
well,
actually wanted to can we pause on that real quick? I wanted to ask you this one actually. What do you think of, like, I know you say it's tradition, but what if it's like someone's tradition is different, right? And their upbringing, their tradition is different, and they find this. Like, I know it's an old tradition, right? Because it's been done before, but to this person, it's a new tradition. Would it not be like considered that, if it's not, you see what I'm saying? Like, would
no,
it
I
not
don't.
also be considered like, it's old for some people, but it's a new experience to others, like having ice cream or something, right? Like, you've had ice cream before, right? But you never had like this type of ice cream, even though it's an old style. You've never had it, but then you had it. It's new to you. I don't know. It's just I just wanted to. I don't know if that works there or not, and the way you're using that, like, traditional sense, because then it becomes modern. Like, in that traditional modernistic sense, it becomes modern because now have experience to it. So now it's the new modern, although it's old, because someone has found a way for it to work in the system. Because the system never was broken; it was just changed,
No,
so to
no,
speak. I don't know. For both, I say.
no, no. I call it tradition because the idea had been established long ago and had been carried on over generations. Right? It's a dynamic behavior, societal behaviors, right? Because that's what man knew at the time, right? Not knowing better, right? Because we were basing things on animalistic behavior and emotion within those times. Modern times, right, dictate that everyone has equal rights,
Well,
and
do
that's the
you
difference.
think, when it comes to the, like, cavemen and all that, do you think like they had religion before they had their society and their
No,
societal norms, or do you think that, because I think that society norms, so this is what I think, like, in a sense, that the oldest thing, if it would be unbelief. Unbelief would be the oldest thing. The oldest thing that would first form would be society. A society would have to form, the coming together, the community. That would be the oldest thing, and it would be pure, genuine, without religion. So if that would be the oldest traditional way, is society, I think, in that sense of coming together, would be the oldest tradition, because we still come together as people. But because
well,
I don't think you can include religion as that. Then religion came along and changed the way we did society, or practices that we saw because of things we witnessed. So that came along, and then that changed the view of the society. And that's what I think. Like, I think the
well,
society is the oldest tradition ever, and then the
okay,
it makes, to me, I think it would make sense that
well, okay.
modern, because it would, again, it would have to change over time. Which I think it's one of those chicken of the age. If man came first, then God comes later. God comes later. Society comes first.
Well, okay. Before what we call or you understand as religion, there was a thing called animism, okay, where the people, and I can use two examples, the American Indian and the people in Thailand, right? Okay, over time. right? They developed religion because man did not know. So he imagined that there has to be something. They called it a god, okay? And they said, well, this explains the unknown to us. And they used that, right? The small number of people in power, the warriors who had won, and control everything, decided that they had a deity, a god, and they're going to believe in this God. And we're talking different societies, different parts of the world, different perspectives, but all humans came up with a concept of a deity at the same time in history of our species. Before that, we had animism. It's a group. We've always been just as smart. We'll never get any smarter, but we have more
But I think
information, and
that
that
helps.
helps us catch up again. And that tradition, because that's what that society knew at the time, was carried forward.
But no, no, again, that
Okay. And that's
it's
what you understand because,
it wouldn't be tradition, because again, the first thing that came was society. That was tradition, and then modernism came with the animalistic
well, societal
tendencies, and
behavior
then further
is
further along with religion, it
no,
evolved in that
so-
sense from
societal,
animalism to a
so,
god, because it can
so
no longer be contained, because knowledge had spread forth. And when
societal,
knowledge spread forth, they either kept attributing these things that were supernatural to the natural, because they either a it's no longer this and we understand it so we keep it, or they just keep the names but they understand it, the science behind it.
well,
But I think that's like, well, I think that's kind of why God's the big mystery, right? Because it's one of those unsolved mysteries, and once we did, it would be, some people just take it hasn't stabbed in the dark or whatever. I don't know. It's that's why people think that, and I'm talking more or less from a non-believer situation. I'm not technically speaking. I'm just giving an opinion from. I'm trying to agree with you in a sense.
no, what I'm saying is that there's nothing wrong with that tradition. But the fact that it's now outdated, right, makes it questionable, right? Can we apply it in modern times? And the answer is obviously no, because it oppresses women, for example, right? That tradition oppresses women, and that's based on emotions, right? Versus the reasoning that we decided to have equal rights for all, right? That runs counter to the animalistic behavior that we had been
Well,
exercising
see,
and do to this day.
I can see if you're talking about like an elitist point of view from only looking at from an American standpoint, like about country and only country, right? But I see it more on a broader perspective of the world, because who cares about this little country that could blow up at any point in second, you know? It could break out in the brink of war or whatnot. So I don't even know if we'll make it like the next 100 years, you know? Like, so it's like, when it comes to like all around the world, does it still work? Yes, because it's still done in practice. Like, so it can't, it's not like it hasn't gone away just because it doesn't exist in one spot. It's just being done somewhere else.
Again, because of traditions, the traditional behavior. We're trying to get away from it by saying women have equal rights or we have a constitution. But it's not really that fair. It's not really that aware overall that men could respect women to that level of being equal, so to speak. Right? That we can't do it yet. We still have to develop that. And those traditions, again, are antiquated and they're still in place. That's where the
Well,
friction lies.
that's technically still just a bias, but like in the sense of like the older tradition, right? Like, or bias of perspective of because it's hard to say, because it's see, when most people think of, I think when they think of a Christian tradition, they tend to probably think of Jewish tradition of, and the Israelites and how they had their Old Testament. They usually, I think they go back to Old Testament, which I don't think it's fair to. Again, if you're going to call a newer tradition that is Christianity to compare it to an older one
Like
of
Buddhism, like Hinduism, for example.
Judaism.
Well, Judaism is older, but Buddhism, I mean, Hinduism is far older than that. So
Yeah,
again, I'm agreeing with you. Yeah, overall in the world there are traditions. Again, but like I said, I'm using that word as a key term because in any society they have traditions, whatever that may be.
I mean, even I think even in a sense of Greek, like there it hasn't really been changed. I mean, they've had. I think we complain about abortion in the womb, but in Greece they were freaking up to a year. The baby was up. They would kill it. So they would kill the baby after it was born than before. So I don't know. Would people prefer to have their baby slaughtered inside the womb or outside the
Well,
womb?
yes, there was this
And that's
ancient
you know,
civilization of Athena, Greek.
like the
The
Greeks.
Greek.
Yeah, the Greeks. That's what I'm saying. Like
Well, no,
it's so odd
well,
about that.
as I was saying,
We look at our times, right?
as I was, as I was saying,
Well, I
there was
was.
this ancient
Hold up.
civilization.
You did kind of cut me off. I was still talking there, Ronan.
No, no, you ask a question and you keep talking. No, no,
I
no.
was asking a
Can we
question,
get
but it
this
was a
straight? Can we
rhetorical.
get this straight?
It
You
was a
ask me a
rhetorical.
question.
It
You
was a
keep asking me
rhetorical.
questions,
It was a
and
rhetorical question.
you keep asking
Rhetorical.
again.
Do you understand
No,
what a
you stop.
rhetorical
You
question
stop
is?
and then keep talking.
Well,
It's
do you
like,
understand
wait a
what a
minute, what's
rhetorical
the
question
point?
is?
How can I make any comment if you switch subjects? Next
But
paragraph.
Ronan, do you understand what a rhetorical question is?
Yes, I understand, but the point being,
that's what I was. I understand what
okay,
you're
so
saying.
you're
I'm sorry.
preaching. Let me get this straight. You're preaching, and I'm the choir. Is that it? If that's it, fine. Go ahead. Just as long as you acknowledge this is not a conversation. It's you
No, it wasn't.
preaching
I mean,
to the
you
choir.
came in. That's
If
that. It
I'm trying to
wasn't.
contribute
I was
something. I'm trying to
monologuing.
contribute something, and you keep, it's like, wait a minute. What's the
Dude,
point? So
I'm just
okay, I'll
practicing my
play the
monologue.
choir.
To be honest,
I'll play the choir.
to be
Fine,
yeah, I'm
dude.
just monologuing.
You
I'm
know,
sorry.
you're
Don't
monologuing. Yeah,
interrupt my
yeah.
monologue. That's
Okay,
rude to
so
the channel
fine. If you're
host. That's it.
monologuing, is the same thing as preaching. So go preach on.
No, it's cool. You just misunderstood that it was a rhetorical question. That's fine.
No, there's a few of
You
them
could take
already that have
responsibility,
happened.
but
There's
that's
a
fair.
few of them already that have happened, and I'm trying to
They're
basically
part
develop
of the
a
monologue,
conversation,
though. But
and I
yeah, they're part of
can't
the monologue.
again. So you're preaching. Go ahead.
Well, I can't now because you made me forget.
Ah, dude.
You're not
Or
very
don't worry.
nice.
I'll tell you what. I'll start talking, and you'll interrupt me. Then I'll shut
Okay,
up. How's
that's
that?
fair. That sounds good. Go ahead.
There you go. See,
If you can remember the
you're doing it
conversation,
already. I'm already
if you
happy
can
about this. I'm
go ahead,
already happy about
and
it. Yeah,
if you
you'll
remember the
interrupt me,
question,
and you'll
go ahead.
interrupt me, and then I'll know to shut up. Okay, in the ancient.
If can you remember the question?
This is great.
Do you remember the question?
An ancient civilization of Athena, Greek, right? It's Greek.
Mhm.
What they would do if a child was born, like, obviously it looked like this figure or something, they take the
Eugenics.
child. Okay, go ahead.
I was just commenting eugenics. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That was
in that
before
sense. Yeah.
the term was created. Yeah, but yeah.
hmm Agreed. Now I forgot my place. Well, there goes the spoil of the conversation. I don't remember where I was going off now. You killed it. Congratulations, Ronan.
Thanks.
Uh,
Well, you were talking about different traditions and different countries and how they look at it. So basically, that was the scope of the topic.
well, it trailed off to that.
Yeah.
More or less, yeah, it did trail off to that. The original subject was actions of love, showing love more through words, but because it's difficult online to show a potential of love, because there's hardly any actions we can take in conversations, right? When we're talking, it's hard to express love in just mere words and how we say it, because
Well,
some
wait a
people
minute.
are just going to get it.
Well, how about a poem or a song? I mean, that
Well, so
express.
that's an action. So yes, that works. Amen.
Oh, okay.
Good point.
Well, yeah.
I do that too sometimes. So that makes me happy. Huh. But yeah, that's a very good example. Poem or songs. Write a poem about someone. If you're having a disagreement, write them a little poem to express yourself that you care for them and what's upsetting you. Perhaps that would, if you can't just come out and talk to people like
You
face to
know what?
face for fear of harming them or some crap as some people do. Some people can just beat up straight up blunt. Sometimes I can be like that. So other times I'm like, tiptoe, tiptoe, tiptoe. But yeah,
I've
I think
written
that was the
poems for
overall
girls, you know.
message.
Yeah.
You ever written poems for dudes?
For who?
Dudes? Like your bros? Like, have you ever put a playlist together
For
for
what?
like your friends? A playlist, like a musical playlist?
Oh
Like a
no.
CD? I don't
No,
know
no,
how you
no.
guys
When
would
I
do it back
wrote
in the cassette, a cassette. That might be
no
your
way.
Can you
When
hear me?
I fell in
Am I
love,
Oh, sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry. I am interrupting. My bad. We're having
no,
a
no. That's
miscommunication
again,
there.
again. I understand. Again, I'm the choir. Go ahead. You know, this is fun. I like using this.
No, I think there's hold up. Let me refresh my browser because I think there's like a
Yeah.
time lapse thingy going on. Because I'm
Yeah.
not trying to cut you off. I really am not.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you can't help yourself. That's the point. You can't help yourself. You have little or no control over that because you're the host of the channel, and
And
it's your right to go ahead and talk. You were saying,
no,
Chuck.
sorry, you were going. Is that better?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay.
You sound great.
Sorry if it was sounding terrible.
Oh, no problem.
But no, I
No,
wasn't trying to. There I go again. I wasn't trying to cut you off.
no, no, no. Again, you're the host of this. Okay, it's your right to do that. You know, I know I'm aggressive. That's the point. I'm not mean
I like
spirited.
that.
But I know I'm very assertive person, very aggressive. I know what I'm talking about. You cannot prove me wrong. Neither can Veckel or Sky Out or Jesus is Lord. Y'all get in line, take
Well,
a
yeah,
number.
of course.
See,
You
but
tend to
the
prove
whole
yourself
thing is,
wrong for the best.
well, that's just it. But I'm not mean spirited person, so you understand and realize that. So, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
But you left off in the last previous conversation. You were talking about romantic love letters.
Well, yeah. Well, no. What I was saying is like for me in my life experience, right? When I had fallen in love, right? Uh, it would like well, you know the feeling, right? You fell in love with your girl, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. To be clear, what you have that feeling, I have that feeling. I can, and what it prompted me to do, right? I'd be thinking, and I would write a poem to the girl, right? And then I'd see her, and I'd hand her the poem. Right. And because it was in that window of time with a new love and everything, it's all like, you know, I got butterflies and stuff like that. And I'm so excited. It just prompted me to write poetry. Right. And I wrote some brilliant stuff, dude. I wrote some brilliant stuff. You know, I can share a couple with you, but the rest of them, well, no, they belong to the ladies that I wrote them for. But the point being,
Yeah.
but the
Sorry.
thing is, there was that, I guess, inspiration, if you will, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
watching
Yeah.
something on TV, right? And say, hey, that's a cool thing to do. And you're inspired to go try that, you know, whatever it is, skydiving or whatever. You know, I'm making it up. But the whole thing is like when I
Yeah.
was like when I fell in love, love that, like I said, it came out of me in different ways. And with a few of the girls, it was poetry. A couple of others, it was music, right? But you know, like it was a different chemistry, if you will. It was a different chemistry that prompted to behave that way when I was so called in love.
Hmm. Maybe it also goes with tactics in a sense, right? Like tactical mating.
Yeah.
Where is everybody else too? I think the link is posted.
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
They must be enjoying the conversation. See, we have good back and forth. We
Well,
must.
what's today? Well, Veckel,
Saturday.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they're enjoying listening to you.
They're just borrowing the side chat. That's it. They're borrowing the side chat just to argue and bicker with one another. They're just here for the arguments. Rubber, 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 rubber. I gotta read what's going on. I have not been looking. We've been having such a decent conversation. I've yet to check my phone. It's just been these three, about 3 or 4 people going at it. Mr. Lizard Veckle and Sky Out and Jill. Oh my goodness, you guys have just been going. Dark Matter. Hello, Dark Matters. Ox again, I guess. Hey. It's going good. Erica, hello. Yeah. But actually, I had to agree with you. This did start preaching. In a sense, I was preaching. You're right. I had to apologize to you for that, Ronan, because this was a preaching to Christians at first. So yeah, you were 100% correct. It was preaching. I was preaching to not necessarily you, but you as a, as a panel member. I have to apologize as a non-believer. But yeah, I was talking to Christians at first. Is how it first started. I don't know if you caught the beginning of it, but it was in a sense preaching to the choir.
No, I'm just taking advantage of the mindset, and making a point that, it's like, but I want to, yeah. So you have something to say. It's a rhetorical question, but then I wanted to interject and ask, like, what do you mean? Hi, Veckle.
Yeah. Hey, Veckle. Yeah.
I think he's on dial-up or something. Probably has a post-string laptop.
He's probably busy with his baby. If he's at home, if he's at work, then I don't know. Then mic issues. I'm just assuming. I'm a dad, so I get it. He might be stepped away.
He's probably crying and trying to hold him because he's got.
Hello. Can you guys hear me now?
Hey, Veckle. Good to see you. Good morning.
I have a mic issue. Yeah, I was trying to get set up for my live stream for later on tonight. I'm actually going into work a little bit late today, so no babysitter. So I gotta wait for the lady to get home, and then I head to work. Yeah, yeah. I jumped in the middle of the conversation, and then I got distracted by stuff on the side chat. What were you guys talking about exactly?
I was rambling on about. Let me see what verse it is. Give me a quick second, because I think I have it saved. If my phone will cooperate. John 3:18. I was going on about John 3:18 and 1 John 3:18. First John 3. I'm sorry. 1 John 3:18.
Oh, okay. Different.
First John. Yeah, my bad. I forgot the first. Wait, misadventure. Yeah, I was talking about how to show love in a sense of like how it's with love, with words, and through actions and truth.
Right.
And so I'm trying to, what I guess to go on is how do we express that online? Because it might be a little bit harder because it's really hard to do actions and show actions online when it comes to conversations. To show the generousness. I'm probably saying that word wrong. I'm trying to say another word.
Maybe,
thank you. Yeah, I can't say that word.
Or maybe
it's a tongue twister. No, that's the word I'm trying to say. I just can't say it because it's a tongue twister for me. I say it funny.
Everybody has that one word in English that we just have trouble saying.
Generosity?
Yeah.
No, for some reason, some words just don't roll off.
Generosity.
Like, for example,
I say it funny, yeah.
My word is explanation. I cannot say that word right for some reason.
Generosity. I don't pronounce the end right. I gotta do it like that. Generosity.
Yeah. Everybody has that word. Everybody has that, man. Everybody has that one word that everybody else can say with no problem, but they themselves can't pronounce it for
Yeah.
some odd reason. It's just weird. I don't know why that is, but
yeah, I was talking about how to show that through actions and all that, and how to show it through how we can do that through conversation. And then Ronan came in and gave some nice little conversation there for a second. Yeah. And then yeah.
1 John 3:18. Let me look at the passage here. I know you probably read it already.
Yeah, go ahead.
It says, "My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth." Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, John stresses the love towards the brethren that a child of God ought to have. So it's another attribute of that's of Christ, another attribute of God, love. In fact, I think in the next chapter he talks about what God is, or what love is actually, and that it's that God is love. So he's the essence of love. He's where the concept, the feeling, the notion,
Yeah.
all that type of thing comes from. It doesn't come from any atheist worldview or any other worldview. It comes directly from God himself. Doesn't come from rocks, doesn't come from worms, doesn't come from air. Love is a sentient experience.
Except for pet rocks that you may or may not have learned. Right. Except for some pet rocks, right? Yeah.
But that's usually a one-way type of relationship.
Yeah, that's usually one.
Yeah.
It's just
I broke up with my
the rock appears. Yeah, the rock just appears to love you, right? It's a lie.
That's why I broke up with it 12 years ago. So it was only a one-way relationship here. So
it just kept giving you that same stupid look, like
it's like talking to a wall.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Voted for Trump
again. Oh, probably voted for Trump. That was good. Oh, yeah, that was good.
But yeah. Why? What does our old friend Ronan have to say about that? About where love comes from? Chemicals flowing around in bags of meat. That's what love is to you, Ronan? It's just a chemical flowing around in a bag of meat.
Well, yes, because the bag of meat has to interact.
Yeah.
Right. And this bag of meat interacted with a female and created children, like you interacted.
Not you. You're not.
A bag of meat interacted and had children. Yeah. That's nature, animal behavior.
So love is arbitrary.
I would like to say one quick thing last night. I think what brought me onto this topic last night was in a sense of I was thinking of my place in this little YouTube sphere, and it came to God gave his life for us, give life to the people. He gave us our life. So in a sense, it's like if I'm going to be online, I'll have to give my life to you guys and give my life for God as I would. And so maybe instead of just being a person online, be that representative, because again, that's all I've been playing this game at, so to speak. Online is just seeing it as a game, not actually like a part of my life, not taking it as serious as such as a devotion into Christianity, if I'm going to speak about it, just in a sense playing Christian. And I don't mean that as like not being sincere and genuine about Christianity, but in a sense feeling it out. And it came to me last night about if I'm going to be online for a bit instead of just for a little bit, and I think that's the decision I made, is just to see where, go down this life, because I'm not going to stop being a Christian. So why should I stop presenting it on YouTube in that sense? So it's like one of those weird decisions that came to me that it was from the Lord. I cried over it. It was really weird. Just talking about it now, it's like it's deep for me. Like it's like I recognize the appearance that I may have online, and not necessarily might always be positive because of my juvenile behavior that I sometimes have, that I need to probably control a little bit more, get under wraps as I develop more. But yeah, like I want to start taking this more seriously than what I have, and I really don't know how to go about showing that too, and I don't think like these type of online environments are really helpful
No, wait a
either.
minute.
Because the sometimes the situations can arise and words get heated, and I haven't mastered controlling the tongue yet.
Well, the basic question is: are you having fun?
Oh, of course, always.
Do you enjoy yourself? The thing is, okay. If you're being yourself, people may disagree with some of your behavior, like they disagree with mine. But like I said, I'm very aggressive, right? You're more fun loving, if you will. But it's still, not part of the specific topic where you focus and you leave your emotions out of this and just think critically all the time. That get kind of tiring, unless it's your job and you love it. But the thing is, if your character is basically who you are now, why change it? I mean, like I said, I have so-called shortcomings, and like I can't change them. But that's me. That's me. I just know that's my nature. But
It's
if it's your nature, I don't
it's
see
kind of
why
like
I don't see
I
why
s-
you should try to change it if, in fact, you do address the issue, but then you add a little humor into it. Fine, that's cool. That's cool. We can't be that serious, I don't think. I'd like to enjoy the conversation. I mean, I do enjoy the critical aspects of a topic. Yes, all the critical details, the deep science or function. I like that, really do. But it's not everything, right? And what you do is very entertaining in its own way. Yeah, but put it this way: I sense you're just being self-conscious, and okay, maybe it's one of those things that you're going through. I don't know. But like the thing is, like if you have to constantly try to stop yourself from being yourself, it gets kind of like, oh man, it gets kind of tough. You know what I mean? You can't like enjoy yourself.
it's more or less not stop being trivial, but more or less develop it to be a more less juvenile in that sense. Like be a little bit more adult.
We'll put it this way: they don't have to come here.
They don't
Okay?
have to come there.
They don't, dude.
No, they
They
see
don't
that's the
have to
thing.
come here.
They don't have to come there, but I want to go to them.
Well, no, but
So
no
that's the
one
difference.
stopping. No,
I
no
gotta
one
fit
is
into that
stopping
type
you.
of whatever.
No one is stopping you. I encourage it. Go out there and explore it. Sure. Yeah, sure. You might gain a few followers because of your nature and character.
That's
That's the
well, yeah,
point.
that's
Not everybody's gonna
not
like you.
not really, but yeah, that followership thing, I could neither here or there, but yeah. I mean, YouTube it is, right? That's the YouTube thing. This is just a platform for communication, not for like the standard. This is just a tool at the end of the day.
Well, sure. It's not your life. I mean, obviously there are
Well,
people
I'm
who,
trying to make it, yeah, but yeah.
yeah, make their channel their lives, but they're
But not
musicians.
livelihood, not livelihood.
Right. It's not your
Yeah,
livelihood.
not my livelihood.
Yeah.
Different, yeah. Make it a part of my life, just not my livelihood.
Well, sure.
I don't want to make a living off the Lord. That'd be kind of messed up, right? Yeah, I'm selling you Jesus.
Oh, then you'll
And
be
he's on
another.
sale.
Yeah, you'll be another
20%
David.
off.
Yeah.
50 if you convert to Judaism. One of these days, someone's going to go out there and make a prosthetic foreskin or something like that. And people are going to go nuts, I bet. I know that's an odd topic. It just popped into my head. Like one of these days, I bet you it's going to happen. Someone's going to get the idea.
Well, no. I mean, I use the idea of a foreskin as a scrunchie, or
Yeah.
or a napkin ring, or or a
I heard that on
promise
Brojo's.
ring,
Yeah.
a promise ring, or headband, uh, things like that.
Well, people do that. That seems odd, right? But aren't there parents that keep the umbilical cord, right? I think I still have my son's umbilical cord, so it's one of those weird things, right?
Foreskin calamari. Well, what I know about the
Oh
foreskin
shoot,
is
someone's backstage. My bad.
the earliest recorded circumcision was 4000 BC in ancient Europe, ancient Egypt. It was done for vanity's sake. The pharaoh would ceremoniously urinate into the Nile to bless it. So that tradition was picked up by the Jewish slaves and carried forward in history.
Yeah. Hey, Serb, I like that Galatians 5 verse.
Me too. It's great.
That was good. That was good. Yeah.
Which passage?
Galatians. Go ahead.
I forget the number, but it's basically
I think it was 5:12. Yeah.
may those that frustrate you also castrate themselves.
Yeah, that was Paul's sarcasm there. Yeah. Yeah, he's criticizing those who are saying that salvation is attained by physical circumcision. So he's clowning them actually. So sir, don't take that as an actual commandment. That's why atheists like you like to quote passages like that, because
I'm not an atheist.
Out of context. Oh, okay. Well, don't take it out of context. Try to make it look like Paul is saying, "Hey, this is something that you should do when you're mad. Castrate yourself."
No, I took it as a well wishing to someone, right?
Yeah, it's
someone to frustrate you also hurt themselves.
Yeah, it's a joke. The scholars would even tell you that too. It's Paul being sarcastic. So
it's pretty much reaping what you're sowing. If they're reaping on you, then they may reap their own things. Yeah.
Yeah. Paul's basically saying, "Oh, well,
it was nice sentimental verse. It was nice. It was like that poetry to show love.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's basically the biblical times edginess of just a sigh that's like,
yeah, that's true. I agree with that. Yeah. Man, I wish I had to work right now, man. I want to talk about this Black Superman real bad. It's coming out.
Yeah, about that.
Should get Nathan Artwork in here. Let's see what he has to say about it.
What's going on?
I don't care if they change the race of characters, but what's with not being able to make actual black characters that don't suck?
Thank you.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I know what you guys are talking about, but yeah.
Yeah. It's just been announced yesterday that J.J. Abrams is going to direct a reboot of Superman, and a guy named Ta-Nehisi Coates is going to be writing the script for it. The only problem is that a lot of people have with this reboot is that it won't be Henry Cavill, and it most likely, because a guy like Ta-Nehisi Coates is writing it. It's most likely going to be one of the Black Supermen we've seen back in the day. So I mean, there's a lot to talk about there, but I'm gonna just.
Well, is it in DC? There's multiverse, right? Because Superman's DC. Well, then there you go. Just DC alternate universe. I mean, it's all fiction anyway. Who gives a crap?
Yeah, that's true.
People give too much stuff in the entertainment, dude. It's just fiction. Who cares? Like, if there's a theory in the world where you can make it all right, like multiverse theory, boom, bada boom, it's solved. There you go.
Well, that's easy for you to say as a Christian because you're not into pop culture.
It's true,
and I agree with you 100%. But I mean, it's part of pop culture, and the reason why I'm speaking about it because it's there's this agenda to shove the leftist nonsense down people's throats, and it seems to me that it's just really convenient that Warner Brothers happened to be going woke on us, or at least so it seems, at this particular time. So, but hopefully this story is good. I mean, whether or not it's a Black Superman or Hispanic Supergirl, as long as the story is good, I think people will overlook it and say, you know what, I can hear the racist right now. So I wasn't fixing to watch a Black Superman flying nigger. But this is actually pretty good. I actually like this.
I just wish they would have done something like, I don't know a whole lot about comic books, but like Cyborg is a popular character. Why didn't they just make a Cyborg movie?
Well, not with Ray Fisher anymore. He's got attitude problem. Yeah, he got fired from Warner Brothers.
He didn't Warner Brother.
Yeah, they didn't. He didn't want it, brother.
Yeah,
that's right. That's why he got let go.
actually, there's a shirt I might get at the flea market that has that because it says Warner Brother.
Yeah, if you see
like
a
the police or whatever. I love that one.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
There's a bunch of them. I gotta show you all these wonderful T-shirts this guy sells at the flea market, and it's just these. I want to like get in the meme culture and just give him a bunch of shirts and ideas. Like, dude, if you sell these, you will make millions. Like, like these kids today eat up memes like candy, and he's not putting. He's targeting the boomer audience. He needs to target the Zoomers because they're gonna be like, "Mommy, Daddy, buy me this shirt."
Yeah.
That's just how it's consumerism, man. It's targeted. They target your kids.
Oh, let me change my mind. Why not a good Spawn movie? Why can't that happen?
I don't even know what that is. That's beyond my time.
What? No, it's not.
Oh,
Spawn became
I've never
popular
seen
when
the
you were
movie.
young.
I've never seen it. That's why I know there's a movie of it, but I've never seen it.
I know, but like, why can't they just make a good Spawn movie? Right? Instead of making Black Superman, make a good Spawn movie.
Or they could, do Blade again.
Maybe. I mean, they kind of ran that one into the ground a little bit.
But yeah, they could reboot it for the newer generation. They need their Twilight, right? They need their vampires.
They could. It'll be hard to replace. Was it Wesley Snipes? Because he looked a lot like Blade.
He did.
Well, the new guy, Mahershala Ali, kind of looks like Wesley Snipes a little bit. I don't think he's going to be as good as Wesley Snipes, though. Wesley Snipes was an actual dancer and knew some martial arts. I know nothing about this new guy who's going to be playing Blade, except that he's a decent actor. But can he play Blade? Can he fight? Can he do choreography? That's the question.
Wasn't Wesley Snipes like in the third or second film he refused to talk or do stuff or something like that? He was like really difficult to work with or something.
That's what I heard, but I don't know about the reasons why he was difficult to work with. I just heard that.
That's just the rumor. Yeah, it's just the rumor I've heard.
Yeah, I heard that too. I heard it was either the second movie or the third movie. He broke his ankle during a fight scene. So I don't know.
They made him keep working. You want to make that paycheck, right? We got a post-production date. You have to meet it.
Well, the fight scene, you can see, I forget which is the third or the second film, where it's CGI fighting. It looks so terrible. It was obvious that it was CGI. Absolutely terrible. But anyway, actually, looks like I can head out now. So I will talk to you guys later.
All right, see you, Veckel. Have a good one. God bless.
All right, too. Take care.
Man, I'm sitting here trying to think of like good black comic book characters, and there's not many of them. Like most of them are just really stupid or derivative of like other white characters. That should be fixed.
Static Shock. Sorry, my freaking mic was off muted. Static Shock is another decent black character that they could always reboot. They have, movie-wise, they could make a killing off that. That was an awesome TV show.
I don't even remember Static Shock.
Yeah, it was decent.
I know. I mean, I know Blade and Spawn are badass, and I know people like Cyborg. Even though I don't really know much about Cyborg. They made Green Lantern black, and that seemed to go over okay. So whatever. I get Black Panther.
I wonder, do you know what they should do? They should even announce that the dude's gonna be black. They should just play the movie and make him black. Then just
Oh my God,
everyone,
that's-
he's black.
That'd be
Then
hilarious. They just keep the whole thing secret. They don't tell who they casted.
Exactly. And the movie just comes out and they see it, and then if they're in shock and awe, they'd be wonderful.
Black
'Cause
sup-
Go
What the
ahead.
hell does a black superhero do? Is he like show up late to save people? What is he like? Ask white people for things and stuff, like because he's
Preferably-
lazy and he doesn't have any responsibility to do things himself.
Preferably, he's a unique and awesome character that happens to be black.
And since the white race is superior, how could a black person be a superhero?
I mean, if you would have believed that, like, I guess.
Well,
Well, see, look
how
at
is it
Hancock.
not?
Look at
How is
Hancock,
the
right?
white race not superior?
on.
We're oppressing. We've created a system of oppression.
Look at Hancock, right? Hancock was a black superhero, and every time he got in trouble, because he didn't darn the suit, they tried to send his ass to jail, and he did up going to jail. Was it because he was a black superhero? Who knows?
No, but I thought Hancock was actually pretty awesome, but he's not like.
Oh yeah, it is a movie. Yeah, it's pretty.
He's not
cool
a
movie.
comic book hero, really, though. I mean, he is, but just in a movie.
Nick Fury's black. Spider-Man's black now.
Oh,
So-
well, that's another one. Nick Fury was made black. That went over okay overall. That was fine.
That's probably because it was Samuel L. Jackson, though.
Well, yeah, I mean,
The character, if you're gonna, you gotta have to be a good character. So it's just, if it's good character casting, that's what they need to do too. Is find good character casting of good actors who can do the role right. And not focus on that so much. Ability.
I want to know where are all the Indian and Asian superheroes? Come on,
Dollywood,
Dollywood. I want to see an Indian superhero.
or is it
An
Bollywood?
Indian Superman.
Bollywood. I forget which one.
you mean Dot, not
Hindi
Feather.
man. I want to see Hindi man.
I was thinking you meant Feather, and the only Indian superhero I can think of is the one from the Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Yeah, them too.
Bruce Lee is living in New Zealand.
Okay.
Is that an Indian superhero? That's when you like call one of the call centers and you can actually understand their English.
You got to watch Bollywood movies.
Oh no, that'd be that it'd be super offensive, but it'd be hilarious. The Indian superhero, his power is just to help everyone with like with tech support perfectly.
Mhm. IT man.
Yeah, IT man. He
Yeah,
just
there you go.
he just walks through a neighborhood and everyone's gremlins go away.
No slow internet anywhere.
He's like employed by the CIA to like watch their systems and just sit around the CIA office.
That's pretty
6G
funny.
man. We can call him. No, man, we don't want to call him that. 6G man.
Speaking of Indian superheroes, Mr. Lizard has been online stalking me. He followed me over to Skyout's Hangout and put slander in the comic sections about me.
Look, it's only slander if it's not true.
Woo.
Got you there, P Mars.
Yeah, does anything he says is true? No.
Except the slander, apparently. God, yeah. See, you can't
Name-
keep up.
Name one thing true he's ever said.
P Mars is full of buffoonery.
Oh,
Oh, wait,
you're
didn't say buffoonery, but I
you're all
added that
going
word.
to hell.
Wait, isn't
P
War
Mars, I was
Machine
born in hell.
isn't War Machine black?
In the movies, I
yes.
don't know about the comics.
Well, there's also what's it called? You have Black Lightning, of course, Static Shock, which I brought up earlier that Todd brought up. Which
Yeah, and
Apparently
Black
rumors-
Vulcan too. Like it's just
oh yeah, Black Vulcan. Yeah, apparently there's rumors that what's it called? Give me a second. Oh yeah, rumors of a Static Shock movie.
yeah, but black guy shoots lightning is just stupid.
Well, Mr. Terrific.
That's
It
why
was
there's
cool.
that's why there's so
Black
many
Dwarf.
of them and no one knows who they
He
are.
was like an underplayed Magneto. Leave Static Shock alone.
Well, yeah, leave. He's actually a pretty good character in DCAU.
It really is, yeah.
And then what's it called? You also have Steel, and Mr. Terrific, of course. I think
X-Men.
Firestorm's another one.
Bishop.
Storm. There you go.
Oh yeah, Storm.
Make a Storm movie.
Oh yeah, there's also Vixen.
I'd watch a Storm movie. That'd be cool.
I think Beast is
Uh,
black.
There's also what's it called?
Is he?
No, Hank
Like,
McCoy is white.
You have Batwing.
I've only ever watched the cartoon, and I think he is white in the opening. I don't think they ever really show him in the show though. Being
Well, he
I can't
starts-
believe
he starts
Wolverine's
out-
Canadian.
No, he starts out as a
yeah,
white
Wolverine
guy.
is not Canadian.
Totally is Canadian in the movies. They made him
No,
Canadian.
no.
Oh yeah,
He
and
spent time in Canada.
in
No,
separate
he was
ways,
born in Canada.
I wanted to correct you what you said about the Green Lantern.
He's
No,
Canadian.
John Stewart was not the Green Lantern was not turned into black. John Stewart is just another Green Lantern of Earth, alongside Hal Jordan and the others.
Oh no, I still count
Here's
that as
a
turning it
question for
black,
you.
right? That you're just
Wow.
explaining
Superman
why it
picked
turned
up-
black.
Here's a question for you.
Do you,
Can Superman pick up Thor's hammer?
Only if,
I mean,
on some
different-
occasions. Apparently, he's not worthy according to the crossover.
Now, I saw this question come up. I don't read comics too. I thought it was an interesting one. He did pick up the hammer in a comic, apparently, but it was only because of the permission of Odin to allow him to pick up the hammer. So I guess Odin is the
mean-
man.
I mean, then there's also the question on whether or not the DC's version of Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, that actually does exist. If he could pick up that one, if there's any rules about that one, because it does exist in the what's it called, DC Universe, their own version. Who I think Viking King wields it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's pointless to have Superman pick up Mjolnir. Like, the whole point of Superman is, I'm stronger than everyone. Go.
well, technically, it's a thing, not a one.
Yeah, but like, I mean, Superman's power is to punch harder than anything can hit, right? Fly faster than you could possibly throw a hammer. Like, picking up a hammer doesn't give him more powers.
He
That
can
dude
move
lived
the
in
earth
sun
around
for
the hammer.
15,000 years. Do you believe that? I didn't know that. Superman lived in the sun for 15,000 years. Wow. He's depressed. Hibernating in the sun.
I mean, there is a zombie
next?
Superman that's
Superman?
in the sun.
What's next? The gay Superman?
Wait, what did you say?
What's next?
Martian
The gay
Manhunter.
Superman?
They could make a Martian Manhunter movie, because Martian Manhunter could just be black, right?
I think your
I
internet's
think everybody
roboting Joe.
thinks he would be good as a black
Oh,
character.
sorry. Let me switch out.
You know what's pathetic? The Timberwolves basketball team, they have a Latino general manager, and they have 3 assistant coaches who are black, and people are pissed that they hired a white head coach.
P-Mars,
It's-
stay on
it's
topic.
like-
We're talking about DC Comics and Marvel Comics. We're not talking about basketball.
No, you're talking about niggers. So like
No, we're talking about fictional people.
how ridiculous
fictional
is that?
people.
You got
Also, Tog, did you realize that he said the N-word out loud?
Yeah. Poor P. Mars.
But either way.
He could have
He
had way
shouldn't
more.
talk about himself like that.
He could have had way more fun just dancing around the word for much longer than just saying it.
I mean, if he's gonna act like one, then I'm just gonna treat him like one.
Wow.
Make the whipping noise. That will make me happy.
Which? No, I shouldn't do that. That was sinful. But
Yeah, no, you shouldn't have, but that's why it made me happy.
I did it for comedic effect. See, that's the type of stuff that I say that gets me in trouble because I do it for the joke, for the sake of the joke, and jokes are gonna get me in trouble. No more jokes for me. I can't be joking.
Well, freaking Search results. Black look at black superheroes. Here you go, Black Adam.
You're responsible for what you say. Other people are responsible for what they say. Just because you said it and they came out with the N word, doesn't mean that you're responsible for that. They're responsible for that. And
Well, there's also depends on
I
subject
sensed that T. Mars was going to come up with it anyway. All along, right? He started hinting. You were patient, and then he, stepped over the line, so he's out of here. Okay.
Well,
So
see,
he'll come back tomorrow or whenever
I
live
don't.
stream again.
I don't think PMARS can help it, and because Ronan had the foresight to know it was going to happen, him not warning us means he's to blame.
That's
Yeah.
true. Thank you, Ronan. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, no, it's fine. You would have removed me, you put me backstage or muted me, but like again, I enjoy this position here. I can use the drama, and make y'all feel guilty. But that's not the point.
I just want to say I'm impressed. You were in a room with both me and Veckel at the same time, and it did not turn to cancer.
Well, yeah. I'm kind of respecting the host here, so But Veckel, put it this way: I mean, I'll interact, says hello, basic stuff, but into conversation, no, he just can't handle it. He can't keep up. He's too slow. He can't focus. Well, he's not really dumb. He's just willfully ignorant. He knows what he's doing. Like you.
I like how back and forth between me, Veckel, Joe, and Ox were out in the live chat, and the only thing that actually kind of calmed it down was when Veckel brought up the Superman character, the whole Superman thing, and then there's just a discussion on the whole how DC sometimes and Warner Brothers sometimes tries to pander too hard when doing stuff like this, even though they could make a good adaptation.
Yeah, I mean, I would be offended. If I was black, I would be offended that they took one of the most boring characters ever and made him black.
It's like, why couldn't you give us a Batman one?
Yeah, exactly. Why couldn't they make a black Batman if they're just going to make a black Superman?
I mean, they do have the Future State Batman, and you also have Batwing, so why can't they do one of them?
I mean, the social perception is that it wouldn't fit. Right, our history, right, the way it developed over time, right, has basically shifted our perspective to the point where, it's hard to imagine or accept currently, right, a minority playing a so-called famous role, Tarzan, for example, or Superman, right, or any so-called.
I don't think that's actually the issue that most people have with it. I think the issue is, aside from just pandering, but also, like Sebra said, one of the most boring characters there can be, because Superman, due to how overpowered he can be extremely boring. There's few people that can actually get Superman right when making a movie or a story about him.
Also, there are good black characters that just don't get attention.
Well, also, you could argue that characters like Superman are technically Jewish, given who created them. And socialist.
I don't know if Superman's so. I mean, Red Sun
Superman
might be
if you look
socialist.
at the early comics, he's basically a socialist.
Oh, wait, are we talking about the watered down socialism that has nothing to do with production and it just like everyone deserves healthcare? Or are we talking about like actual socialism where everyone owns the factory?
Everyone owns the factory.
I would have to go back and look at that video I saw where it was talking about like the early Superman comics and also the history of politics within comic books, even talking about things like Captain America and whatnot.
Yeah, because early Superman was, from my understanding, was pretty anti-Russia. I find it hard to believe that he would be a socialist.
Well, he does go all the way back to like the 1920s, I think it is.
Red
So there
Superman.
has been a huge history of, Also, given the time period, I could see that happening given, like I said, who wrote him and issues between different people and whatnot.
See, that's actually a good question. When did the first? I know it was in one of those comic books that was like an amalgamation of comics where they just was it Action Comics? Was that it? Something like that.
What is it?
1938. First appearance of Superman.
Ah,
So it would have
I'd have to
been
look
like
up-
right before World War II.
I'd have to look up the whole information on that. Like I said, there is apparently a lot of stuff in his like early days.
But yeah, I could see the whole entire. I mean, there was a big push for social programs, right? Like guaranteed jobs and all that kind of stuff, which is
Yeah.
called socialism by a lot of people nowadays. But it's not. It's not really socialism. Like here you go. We will provide you a job in the capitalist system. It's not socialism.
Yeah. I'll have to find that video and bring it up later. What I got from it. Because I remember there was a video that talked about it really well. And then, like I said, it also goes into things like Captain America and how he's like, what's it called? You know, how his introduction by Jack Kirby
I wanna
was considered
see a-
very, brave and bold in that time era. And
I wanna
especially with having in the comic, it's like, literally the comics, there's a page that says, hey, if you know any Nazis that are actually out there in America and all that, report them to the authorities.
I want to see a crossover between like either DC and Marvel and Transformers.
Well, and Transformers. Why Transformers?
Because it'd be badass. Like I want to see the Transformers maybe be the bad guys. It's like maybe the Decepticons or Optimus Prime turn evil, and like they're invading Earth, and it just happens to be in the era of superheroes. And I want to see that stuff go down. I want to see rockets versus robots, and I want the robots to win.
Oh, I was wrong. There's apparently a sort of beta version of Superman called The Superman that was around before 38, but he wasn't. I guess he wasn't like an alien or anything. He was just a strong human doing strong man
Oh,
things.
yeah. Yeah, there's that. And then, of course, even before that, there was, what's it called? The original Superman, which was basically a supervillain that looked like Lex Luthor.
Yeah, with the reign of the Superman. I think.
No. Before,
Before that.
the literal first appearance of Superman was like that. Then afterwards, he became like the strong man and whatnot.
Did the chat die? Is it over?
I think the chat's
It's
still
over.
going.
It's over.
I meant the conversation. Conversation died.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
over.
we can only be nerdy so long about comics. I mean,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not
you're
know.
right. It is
I mean,
called
I've
The
just
Reign
been
of
sitting here
Superman.
so patiently. What? Who?
Yeah, you're right. It is called The Reign of the Superman. It got me
Oh.
confused because there's also another there's an actual comic that is DC called The Reign of the Supermen, which it got me confused when he said that.
You had,
Huh.
I mean, you wanted it to end, and you just had to mention it. Keep it going, dog.
I
Well,
did.
yeah, there is Bumblebee, but then there is people that think that she's more relegated as a side character or belongs in something like Young Justice or Teen Titans rather than having her own standalone movie.
That's just prejudice. When doesn't the sidekick or the underdog like get a one up at least once, right?
Usually that would be relegated to someone like Nightwing.
Yeah, some crap like that, right?
Nightwing, Red Hood.
You know what I always found weird? Like all the orphans are named Robin for Bruce Wayne.
Right? I thought that was
Wait, named
forever
Robin
ago.
or get the title of Robin?
You get the title.
Oh, I thought it was name. I didn't know it was a
Yeah,
title.
no, they all have different names, but I
Jason
think
Todd, Tim
it's
Drake.
still creepy that he's like, you're Robin now.
Yeah, you're Robin now.
Yeah, you have like what's it called? Jason Todd, Tim Drake. You have Dick Grayson, and of course, what's his name? I forgot his first name. Batman's son, basically. His
Well, see,
actual
the
son.
only bad thing about that is once you have that, none of those guys are, in essence, the actual Batman and Robin. They're just forms of Batman and Robin, not the essential. And they have been trained by Batman and Robin, but they don't make them Batman and Robin. It's just a cheap imitation and knockoff. That makes me sad.
Well, actually, it originally started whenever they eventually let Dick Grayson since grow up and become the Nightwing character. Batman still needed a Robin, so they introduced a new one, which most fans hated and voted to have him die.
Why would they even need? Why couldn't Robin just become like an adult Robin superhero?
No,
like that made no sense.
Robin, Jason Todd.
I'm just saying with the original.
They hated him so much.
Like, why didn't they just freaking? I don't know. I don't think it's just a comic book.
Which, of course, led to his resurrection and his becoming of the Red Hood. Then you have Tim Drake, which, depending on which canon you're going with, he either grows up to become, Red Robin, or he gets, Jokerized by the Joker.
So I never really read comics, Tog, but don't discount comics. Comics is basically modern human replacement for like ancient Greek stories about deities.
I love comics to death. Comics are my favorite. I love comics. I just don't get into the whole. I'm just not big on them. I don't like comics because you can never get back to the original source. It's really hard to start, and I like to start at the beginning. Give me the origins, put everything in order, and then I'll read it from that. Because that's why there's just so much, and then it gets off and all that, and then it gets silly. And it's what's the point?
Then with each crisis, the timelines get reset, and then there's a new Earth Prime, I guess you would call it.
Yeah,
the last one was the New 52.
It's because they don't want to do a real reboot. They just kind of want a soft reboot.
I think they did. I think they're trying to do that right now with Future State. With the which is actually funny. The Black Batman. You have several other characters and all that, which apparently exists in the future of the original characters, which kind of is hilarious because you couldn't actually go for the full-on reboot.
Is Batman technically already? Is he technically already like a cyborg Batman or no? Technically, he's had advanced technology.
I mean, we recently just got through the death metal and all that, and we've seen a what's it called, Doomsday Batman, a T-Rex Batman, a Darkseid Batman, and so on and so forth.
There's a Batman that's a T-Rex, like I'd love living
flesh and blood. You know that
T-Rex
he keeps in the museum, in his museum area, right?
I didn't know he had a T-Rex. No.
In his cave, he has a T-Rex. It's a mechanical one.
Oh, I've never seen it.
In one of the multiverses, Batman was dying, and he transferred his mind to the T-Rex.
So he was then what's his face? Megatron. Yes. The Maximals will pay. Yes.
Oh, can I say we need to make a movie out of the Dark Knight Returns, that short series of Batman comic books.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they did make an animated movie of it.
Yeah, and the animated movie was good. It's my favorite Batman storyline, and I'm sad that they never got a movie. I think it's the best Batman storyline. And then we need to forget about Batman for like 2 decades.
I would argue with that. I would say the DCAU is best Batman.
Holy crap, this is so freaking soft.
Yeah.
What is this made out of children's hair? Sorry guys, I'm talking, I'm sorry.
The DCAU reduces every character down to almost a MacGuffin. Oh, a mystery needs to be solved. Batman's going to punch a computer and then go, I solved it.
Wait, what do you mean by DCAU?
The joined universe? That's what you're talking about, right?
I'm talking about the DC animated universe.
Yeah, it's a joined universe, right?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
have Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Justice League the Animated Series, Justice League Unlimited, Static Shock, and then what's his name? I always forget that one. The Zeta Project, and of course tie-in materials, comic books, so on and so forth.
Is it the problem when you have so many super people in the same place? Like the group of people acts as the character, and then there's a mystery. Well, you got Batman. Okay, well, that's what Batman does now. He just does the mystery portion of the episode.
I mean, he is the detective.
Right? Well, that's my whole point. He doesn't get to do anything else. Right? He'll do the I hit my computer a few times and I figured it out. Now I'll hang around Superman and punch a couple people while he shoots people with laser beams.
See, that's
They
not
actually did
fair.
address that in the episode where Superman was trying to say, "Y'all just stand back and I'll take care of it all."
And guess what happened? He did. Because that's what Batman do.
And what happened? They got captured.
Yeah, well, I think it might have been one. I think it's one of the situations.
Wait a minute. They left, and then they couldn't protect themselves because Batman left.
What happened? No, because they kept on fighting. So each of them got captured. They basically split up. They got captured one by one, and they were going to be eliminated. But Batman managed to trick everybody to thinking Clayface was actually him.
Right? Isn't it much more
everybody.
interesting when Batman's on his own? And he has to like problem solve the whole situation.
That's also why they
kind
kind of wanted to
talking about.
aside
So
from
lost.
keeping
Instead of
originally
being the
keep-
character that sits down in front of a computer and bashes his head on a keyboard and goes "Durr."
Actually, aside from them not wanting originally Batman to be in the Justice League series, what's it called? They did relegate him to sidelines quite a bit, as well as made it where he was never a main member of the team.
He should never
He
be.
was only part-time member, as he established them when they were trying to turn themselves in. I'm part-time, remember?
Teams of superheroes.
He's like the team janitor that gets to join in just because he's the extra hand, in the spaceship, and the janitor because we need the hands.
Teams of
It is
superheroes.
his spaceship.
Teams of superheroes have the same problem Superman does, and then this team of heroes has Superman in it.
They actually, what's it called? With that kind of thing with Superman being overpowered and all that. In the first season of Justice League, it was actually pointed out to them. They're like, "Oh yeah, we need to fix this," because they would always need to to be able to have the characters all to work with each other. Superman couldn't just go in and punch everybody. So in the first season of that series, quite often he would get electrocuted or something and knocked out for a long while before the battle actually began.
Yeah,
and
right.
people pointed that out to the creators and like, "Oh wait, we did do that a lot. We need to fix this."
So I never watched this episode, but I've been told about it a lot. The episode of the Justice League where, and correct me if I get some of the details wrong, Batman made all these backup plans to take care of any of the superheroes if they went rogue, and then some supervillain got a hold of the plans and used it. That was the thing,
That's
right?
not one of the episodes. That's a standalone movie by itself, not even connected to DCU.
But it highlights my point. The most interesting thing Batman did in that episode was everything he did off screen, before the episode started. Made all these plans.
Oh yeah, the movie was called Justice League Doom.
It's so boring. Stop it. They don't need to be in the same universe. It doesn't even make sense that they're in the same universe.
I'm getting confused. I can't hear you actually a bit right now. What did you say?
It doesn't even. They don't need to be in the same universe. It doesn't make sense that they're in the same universe.
Well, take that up with the comics.
The whole entire idea that there's this town based on like 1920 to 50 Chicago. That's so corrupt that Batman has to become Batman. It doesn't make sense that exists in a world where Superman exists or other superheroes.
It was actually explained in the comics. What's it called? You know the villain Darkseid?
Also, they had to bring in Darkseid to explain it.
No. They basically used Darkseid as a way to explain why that Gotham's always so terrible. Is that he basically possesses it. Not like possesses it like an object, but he is possessing all of Gotham. And he's also apparently possesses all the villains, not like literally like he's in control of them, but whenever they commit an act of evil, since he's considered a god of evil, he's basically possessing them when they commit evil.
See, that makes it make even less sense. That means Superman should have been there. It would have made sense for Superman to exist in Gotham.
Guys, it is fiction. Let me remind you.
Yeah,
it is fiction. Calm down.
I'm complaining that it's bad fiction.
It's not supposed to make sense in reality, nor should you try. It's just supposed to be entertaining.
I mean,
we're not saying I'm not arguing that it should make sense in reality.
Superman tries. Somebody could make the argument. Superman comes to Gotham. Batman, get out of my town.
Yeah, I'm trying to make the argument that it needs to be internally. It needs to internally make sense. It doesn't.
Don't question the freaking new gods and old gods. That thing becomes the whole platonic mind fest. Freaking multiverse.
It's actually the timekeeper.
But he's basically a platonic god, and none of them are the true Darkseid, but more Avatar-like.
It's actually the timekeeper.
Who?
The timekeeper.
Who?
From Marvel.
Who?
That's his title, the timekeeper. He's like the custodial engineer of all the time ports.
Who is the timekeeper?
DC. I don't know. It's just a timekeeper. He keeps the time for the time.
You're talking about Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel.
Oh, I don't care about Marvel right now. I'm talking about DC.
No, that's who controls it. He made the DC universe because he controls the time.
Wait. You're talking about Yahweh?
No, it's not Yahweh.
No. The creator of the DC universe is Yahweh.
No, I'm specifically talking about. I'm talking about the timekeeper, who keeps the pathways of time. You could stand time and hold it still, because he's outside of time. He's not Yahweh. He's just a timekeeper. He made DC, is what I'm saying. I'm literally making a joke. I'm not even being serious, but yeah.
I want to add the Dark Knight Returns I said was so wonderful is in the Joined Universe, and it's the only good story from the Joined Universe.
What's it called? The Superman fans actually kind of hate that one a bit because they think it's a bad interpretation of Superman.
Yeah, they just don't like the idea.
Being like a Boy Scout, but just being that so gullible to do something like that. And it goes basically going against his character, especially if you look at what's it called. Give me a second. Especially if you take into account versions like the DCAU one.
See, but that's not what it is. They hate the fact that Batman's superpower is being prepared, and it's really the only power that could ever beat Superman without being arbitrary.
Yeah, but that's actually not what they hate about it. They actually hate the fact that he's siding with the government.
Yeah. Well,
they believe it goes against Superman's character. It's basically what they're thinking of it.
What? Truth, justice, and the American way? Are you kidding me? You don't think he would side with you as government?
I gotta find a video and see what their explanation is on that.
His whole character is about siding with the government.
Depends on which one you're looking at. Which is true because there's, of course, the multiverse.
I mean, his Bizarro World counterpart, Red Sun, is the same thing, just Russia. Like his whole character is, I'm in this country, yay this country.
But yeah,
Wait, isn't the Red Sun also in Marvel?
No, the Red Sun's like the alternate universe, the name for the alternate universe, right? Superman in
it's
the
one
Red
of the
Sun.
multiverses where he lands in Russia.
Yeah, he's not called. I don't think he's actually called the Red Sun. It's just, you know,
The name of the story.
Yeah, instead of being a son of America, he's now a son of Soviet Russia, is what it is.
Okay, then never mind.
But yeah, there's also Injustice, which is actually a pretty interesting take on him.
No, it's not. It's just the same character being bad.
Oh, you think it's still the same?
Yeah, it's the same character being bad. He's just evil, or well, not really evil, kind of evil.
Hello,
went
New Life. How you
nuts.
doing today?
I'm blessed, bro. What are you guys doing?
We're talking about comics such as DC and what Superman does what.
I'm not. I'm talking about how Superman's boring and should go away forever.
Well,
The only good thing Superman ever does is loses, and he hardly ever does that.
Oh yeah, dude. I think they actually made a movie about like addressing the fact people think he's boring.
I was gonna
They
say,
make
sorry, I
movies
was-
addressing things like that, comics addressing stuff like that.
I was going over 1 John 3:18 today earlier. Before we went on to talking about DC and all that.
You can blame Beckel. He brought it up.
He did, didn't he?
John 3:18.
1 John. 1 John.
John 3:18. Okay.
Oh wait, are we switching to the different superheroes we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. We're talking about the Salvation superhero now?
Salvation superhero, yeah.
What do you think of? I'm just actually going to ask a quick question. What do you think of Superman and Batman Public Enemies?
I don't know anything about it.
Shouldn't it technically be Supreme Hero?
I'm sure whatever part Superman plays in it is super boring, and Batman is probably okay, but dragged down by the fact that Superman's in the movie or show or whatever.
Superman gets framed by President Lex Luthor, and Batman's also wanted because of Superman.
Oh, so exactly what I said. Okay. Fantastic.
But hey, at least President Luthor. Why does everybody always want Luthor to become president?
Because he's corrupt and has money.
You want to talk about liberal bullshit in comic books? The fact that like Batman and Superman think that never killing is somehow good.
That's kind of the same thing that we see in modern times too.
Yeah, some liberal bullshit. But that's been
I think they addressed that in they made a movie on that to address it. Superman versus the Elite. Addressing why Superman doesn't kill people.
Was any superhero elected to be president?
Probably in some universe. I mean, and there was a supervillain that became president who was basically
I don't know.
a hero
I just
in
know
the universe.
I know that Jesus Christ. I don't know, but I know that Jesus Christ has been elected by the Father to be the King of the new heaven and the new earth. And then not only that, but he also gets honor in this temporary world. the church will honor.
Wait,
The
are you
church
sure?
honors Jesus as king. Yeah.
Are you sure elect
on.
is the right word? It
Oh,
seems
yeah.
weird. It seems weird that Jesus, being God, had to be like risen up.
Well, he has been elected from eternity past. He always been a unique son.
Speaking
God.
of superheroes,
At one point, he was below king, and then he became king.
Well, he always been a king. It's just when he
Okay.
came into the world, he became a suffering king. A king humbled himself or became a servant. So he always been the king. Right? But there was no
Same time,
king in Israel that was able to
he's
satisfy. There was no king in Israel that can satisfy the kingship. But only Christ Jesus was the only one.
So God was literally like, shit, no good help these days.
Well,
Got to do it yourself.
Well, I don't think God talks like that, but
Oh, come on.
I think there is a passage with in regards to something like that.
I bet God does, if he exists, doesn't only curse, but curses the best out of everybody.
well, he
In Severus, I
doesn't-
would actually have to agree with you.
Man, he
There
cursed the
I
earth.
see some passages that actually has Christ himself cursing.
just because you curse something, it doesn't mean that it's evil, bro. Okay,
I know.
it's
I'm
the
not saying
intent.
evil.
It's the intent. When Jesus Christ cursed the fig tree, he was giving us an example of Israel. God, said if whoever cursed Abraham, there will be a curse on them too.
fuck Abraham.
Well, it just shows how blind you are.
Pretty sure you haven't heard of something called the Streisand effect.
Have you been born again, dude? The one that was just talking, not you, Lizard, but the other guy. Are you born again?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
I was once I thought I was born again. Yeah, one time. Yeah.
You thought. See, just because you went to church.
No, because I no longer believe it to be true.
No. Well, you were just
That's
another
why.
devil going to church. That's all
Okay.
you was. You was just a
Alright.
devil playing
Okay.
church. That's all you
Okay.
was.
Okay.
Let's just be honest. Let's just be
Okay.
honest. With
Okay. And
Are
the
you
earth
sure-
is flat. Yeah.
Are you sure he went to church all the time?
Well, I don't
So-
know if you went to church. But
Yeah,
I
like-
think
like-
it's a claim.
How do you know? Are you speaking of your own fruits right now?
Who, me?
Because out of the mouth of words, yeah, because you're the one speaking it. That's not what he's saying.
No.
Why would you
Well,
put words in his mouth?
Well,
You're putting your words in his mouth, and those are your words. So maybe you're the devil playing Christian.
no.
You better watch out, man. You better watch what you say because I hear you. You better watch what you say.
Hold on, dude. You made a claim,
No, I'm gonna put
right?
your feet. Yeah, but you put your words in his mouth, which means
Well,
you live by
well,
your words, and your word is the
well,
Lord. So you better watch the words you use
the Bible,
because it might come back at you.
The Bible.
The Bible tells you to watch what you say.
Hold on. The Bible talks about the spirit of the Antichrist, right? So there's many that are walking away. They were supposedly claiming that they were believers, right? But they were walking away, right? They were
Is
just
this
playing
man?
the
Is this
part.
man?
They
Is
were
this
just
man saying that?
just
Is this man
just like
saying
the
that?
hypocrites. Just like the
Is this man
hypocrites
here? Is
in the
this man
time of
saying that
Jesus.
though?
Well,
Is
he's
this man
making a
saying
claim
that? No, he's not.
That he was born, he was born once, right? So that means that he's an ex-believer, right? Ex-believer, right?
Oh, I could have
So
been
he
born numerous times.
Have you been born again? That was the question. Have you been born
Oh, I could have
again?
been born numerous times. How about that answer?
Have you been born again in Christ Jesus? Yes or no?
Oh, now it changed. Why? Why do I need Jesus?
Why do you need Jesus? Because you are a sinner, just like I am.
I'm not. I don't believe in sin.
Well, that's the thing. Because
That's
of
the
your
thing?
self-righteous, right? You self-righteous, right?
How can I be a sinner if I don't believe in sin?
Hey, New Life, do you know Christ says, I judge those who believe in me, but those who don't believe, I judge not. So why are you sitting here judging this man of sins that he doesn't believe in?
Well, guess what? Jesus is the judge to every man, not only the believer. That man is accountable
Okay.
for hearing the gospel. That man heard the gospel and will.
I'm removing you because you obviously didn't just hear the scripture I quoted. You need to go back and read what Christ says in John. I believe it's in 20. I judge no man that believeth in. I judge man that only believeth me. No, any man that does not believe in me, I judge not. Go back and read that, and then come back at me. Because what you're saying is heresy. There is one who judges, but it's not Christ.
I so want to make a
That went
40K joke
weird.
right now.
Yeah, the definition of sin is breaking a law given by a deity. So since I do not believe in that deity, I don't believe that sin exists.
Well, you believe in pantheism, right?
Yeah, I would say I'm an agnostic pantheist.
Oh no, I might be
Curse
rubbing
you
off.
and your
Am I rubbing off on John?
agnosticism.
Am I rubbing off on John? Is he slowly becoming an agnostic?
Everybody's an agnostic.
Oh, I mean, in the I don't know sense. Yeah, I guess so. How about actual agnosticism? Yeah, I mean, I guess then the only law Brojo might think was given by God was the natural laws of the universe, and I don't think he's even capable of breaking those laws.
Right.
I mean,
I was
the
gonna
whole
make
point of having a law is to have.
Unless I'm Superman.
I was gonna
Unless
pick
I'm
on the
Superman,
whole.
right?
I was gonna pick on the whole idea of pantheism and how like everything's a god. Like, well, at that moment, I'm like, well, I'm that pantheistic god, and I was gonna say something along sin, but I forgot my own joke. Something about transgression
dare
and
you.
sin, and I
How
forgot.
dare you talk? How dare
Oh,
you
when
talk?
you upset the transgressing. Now I don't even remember the joke. I forgot it. I'm terrible.
How dare you talk?
I know. I'm sorry. I joke too much.
Hi, St. Tommy. Miss you, St. Tommy.
Hey, St. Tommy.
Either way. Yeah, it is true. Superman just being so overpowered. They have to make specific. They got to make specific characters to be able to wear him down or be able to fight him. You have what's his name, Atomic Skull, for nuclear radiation to be able to do something to him. The Parasite draining his power and gaining it.
Or an eraser.
You have Bizarro, a anti-Superman.
A cup of water
Doomsday,
spilling on the page.
the Parademons, and Darkseid, who's basically a god.
A fire.
And all that.
That'll work. Fire's the most powerful one. That one's hard to beat.
So, I just want to say, Tog ruined my brain when he said heresy. Now my head is just full of 40K memes. I want to sit here and just randomly say, brother.
Oh.
New Life, if you're still listening, I'm sorry. I'm driving, so I didn't see the private chat at the moment. John, it's in John 20th, I believe. I'll have to find it, and if I can't find it, I'll put it in the comment section of this video for you. Perhaps get at me in private. We'll do a Bible study together. But I can't have you coming in here going on people who are like that, because it's not right. The Lord would not want us to do that. Preach, yes, but not force our way onto people. The Lord doesn't want us to force people.
Somehow. Not somehow. What was I saying? Oh yeah, now I remember. What's it called? I still find it funny what Gio was trying to say in the live chat with the whole. Not right now, of course, but what he was saying in the live chat earlier. It's like, yes, exactly why I want you to believe, you fool. What's it called? Oh yeah. He's like, you're a coward for not debating me.
I want to pay for PMARS to get a 23andMe and find out that he's like 10% African.
So what was the verse again, Todd?
No.
Sorry, John. Somewhere in John 20, I believe. I don't know the exact number on it. I can't give it to you right now because I'm driving on my way home.
Or is Romans chapter 1?
What'd you say?
Is it Romans chapter 1 or John?
John.
I mean, okay, so what does it go more like? So I can give me some kind of clue or something.
Just wait a second. Can you wait like 20 minutes and I can go home and give it to you because I have it up. I can't do it right now because I'm driving. If you want to chill and hang out, that's more than welcome. We can still keep it on Bible, but let's not like try to convert people. But we can keep it on Bible. I don't have a problem with that. I would love nothing more.
I think it is. I think you're taking it out of context. I'm not trying to convert them. You can't convert nobody, right? So I'm not trying to convert the guy. I just know there's a lot of fake believers, supposedly believers, now that hate God. They used to be a part of a congregation, right? And now they walked away, right? And then they made a claim. I don't believe in God. God doesn't exist or whatever, right? So in my opinion, when he said that he was born once, right? I was thinking, atheists say that I was born twice, and they didn't work the first time, it didn't work the second time. So I was thinking, maybe he's thinking the same because that's a false doctrine too,
I could see it. Yeah, I think that also works with like baptism. Some people get baptized more than once, and they see that as being born again and again. Well, you're only born once. You're not born again and again. Yeah, I can understand that, but yeah, I don't think he meant it in that context. But yeah, but even that for us, we should understood that. But you were coming at him at a 10. You should have preferably more at like a 4. Because you came at it straight at a 10, like, whoa. That's why it seemed like you were proselytizing in that sense. So I apologize if that wasn't your intended purpose, but it did seem like that because you came really brash.
Well, the reason that is because in 1 John, right? This is why I came at him like that. It's because
God, here we go. Always gonna cherry pick a Bible verse to justify our actions.
No. Actually, I'm going to just show it very clear. I don't have to interpret it. He says, love not the world, neither the things of the world. If any man loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, and the lust of the world, of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but it is of the world. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of God abides forever. Little children, if this is the last time, and as you have heard, the Antichrist shall come, even now are there many Antichrists, whereby we know that is in the last times. They, the Antichrist, right? He's talking about the Antichrist and the spirit of Antichrist. He says, and they went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they have been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us. But they went out, and they might be made manifest that they were not of us, right? So I'm just saying that just because somebody plays the part and goes to church, that does not mean they are born again, right? They were just playing the part. And then
see, away, I think
right? That's the spirit of the Antichrist. That's the spirit
when it comes to that verse. How I interpret that verse, it's strictly among Christians professing, like in a sense of Christians professing still in Christ, living reprobate, and leaving the doctrines to go to another heresy. Not necessarily the reprobate who fall apart from faith. Because again, they can't. Unless they're going forth producing, like I guess in that sense, right? Anti-Christianity in that sense, yeah, they're becoming Antichrist in that sense. I can see.
Ask him how was his relationship before he became an atheist when he was just playing the part to going to church, right? Ask him if he was confessing that Jesus Christ was Lord. Asking him if he was under the hearing of the word of God. I'm pretty sure he was, right? If he was going to church, right? and now he's just walked. So to me,
Go ahead. I was going to ask, why is that relevant? That's what I was going to ask. Why is that relevant to you? Go ahead.
Oh, because it shows that he was never born again. It shows that he had the spirit of the Antichrist.
All right, you're special. You're special.
No, I'm not special at all. No, I'm not special at all.
Special. You're special.
But the Bible does describe the church, unique and special. No, I'll tell you that. So every member has a special part.
Yeah,
right, because you're a sinner.
Because I'm a sinner. I need to be saved my sins. I don't believe I'm a sinner. All right. So, and I don't believe there's no evidence of a hell existing, because that's going to be the next thing, is to be saving me from hell. Because ultimately, to believe in Jesus is to be saved from eternal damnation or some kind of judgment or annihilation. No.
So, was you confessing?
Not for me. No. For me, no. It's just a matter of truth. But yeah.
So, did you ever confess that you believed in Jesus?
Yes.
I told you.
You're proselytizing again. You're proselytizing again. You like it was pointed out to you. You're cherry picking. No, you're trying to set it up so you can get into the preaching part. That's all you've been doing all along, and you're lying about it. And you're not supposed to be lying. And again, you can't respect the words in your own Bible that says to leave non-believers alone. If he's on, you're not supposed to be imposing on anyone.
Well, that's a big old lie, because God's going to judge the unbeliever. God wants to save the unbeliever. So
the Lord will, but Christ won't. It has to go. It has to go with everyone gets judged at the end of the day, right? Everyone gets judged at the time of resurrection.
How does God want us to be alone and leave the unbeliever alone when He wants us to
follow the unbeliever who's asked questions? The ones who don't, leave them be.
No, well, remember,
if they get into conversations, they start asking questions. It's fine, right? We had these conversations, but we're not supposed to. We're supposed to call only when they freaking want.
Was Jesus judging the Pharisees? Because I see that in an example. I see John judging the Pharisees.
Yeah, and your point.
Yes, but they believed the Pharisees believed in the Father.
Not all of them. There was actually the Pharisees. They actually were plotting to kill him. So. And he was preaching to all of them. He called them.
But they didn't believe in the Son. They didn't believe he was the Son. That's the difference. They believed in the Father, but they didn't believe he was the Son. But they still were believing in the Father. But they didn't believe the Son. So did he judge them? Not. No. But he did give them a rebuke because he loved them.
Jesus still brought judgment upon them, and they didn't receive correction.
Prove to me you're a Christian, New Life. Prove to me you're a true believer. Can you prove to me you're a true believer?
I prove it to him like doesn't believe. I can't prove
Why
it
should
to
I take anything you say if I don't know you're a true believer? Why should I take anything you say to be truth if I can't be assured that you're a true believer?
Because you don't believe that Jesus is. You don't believe that that the Son of God. You don't believe in the Son of God, right?
I could tell you something that will help me to make believe, because I don't believe there's any real Christians.
Okay.
So if you can show me, if you can prove to me you're a true believer,
now
then I will take your word.
Hold up. Hold up. Pause. We need some clarification. Brojo, you have to specify in what terms do you mean what makes a true Christian, because everyone's going to have their own bias. So you need to go down like the bulletin point of what you think makes a Christian.
Okay. And we'll use the Bible. And the Bible says that those that believe that signs and wonders would follow them, that they will perform miracles, they will cast demons, raise the dead, all that sort of stuff. I don't see any evidence of that.
Well, guess what? You cherry picking yourself. You're using the Bible. You're interpreting
what the Bible says. Right there.
We both alike.
That's another thing. There's another thing of that, though. There's real quick, New Life.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead. After you, I'll go.
Okay, we both alike. I'm quoting the Bible. You quoting the Bible, right? You saying I'm cherry picking. I see you cherry picking, right?
No. Tog asked me. He wanted a bullet point. I gave him a bullet point. That's one.
Okay,
you are
interpreting the Bible, right?
Lord, we confess. We
skip the Bible according to your unbelief, though. You're interpreting the Bible according to your unbelief, right? I'm
reading the word.
interpreting the
Well, hold
Bible.
up, hold up.
I know how to read English.
Let me go real quick. Let me go quick with New
I don't
Life.
need the Holy Spirit to read English.
So you claim that the things that the wonders and signs that you haven't seen, and you haven't. That's the claim. It doesn't stop you just because you haven't seen it in modern times, that it hasn't happened in the past. Because there's claims for it happening that's written down on testimony, which you can take or not take. So you can say that you haven't seen it in modern times, but there is a claim that it happened in the past. So at least by that claim, then that's fine.
People make lots of claims, Todd, and just because it's written down in a book doesn't make it true.
But you interpreting the Bible based on your unbelief. I'm interpreting the Bible based on.
I'm interpreting the Bible by reading English. I do not need the Holy Spirit to read English.
But you're still using the Bible to make a claim, though, right? And you complaining that I'm quoting the Bible. Right?
Todd, what is wrong?
Right?
Then what do you want? What kind of answer would you want from me? To tell you, the question that it was, what do I believe is a true believer? And the only thing I can find is the text, is the very text that the Christians use.
Well,
so you want me to just pull something out of my ass, and then
also,
but say, well, you'll say no, that's not in the Bible. So,
but also, there is a conflict of interest if you're using that Bible, because again, the Bible does not work against itself. That there is another portion of the Bible of why there are no signs and wonders as you would expect today. There are verses that do cover that within it, and I just don't have them on me right now. But there are verses that do cover that do answer that.
And then we also got verses, right? We got evidence that people seen miracles and they still did not believe. Okay?
Yeah, that too.
And Abraham, on the other hand, never seen a miracle and he believed. So, I mean, we see that Israel, they seen many miracles and they did not believe. So a miracle is not going to make you believe. You got to be born again of the Spirit of God. You need the Spirit of God bearing witness with your spirit that you are a child of God, bro. The miracle is
how do I know you're a child of God? How do I know you're born again? How do I know you're a true believer? Just by your word?
You can't.
Your word? I have to
because
go by your word? Don't actions have to follow those words? Doesn't love have to follow those words? Doesn't
this is circling around today.
Have to follow those words?
1 John 3:18.
See, the problem, I can't prove you nothing because you don't believe. Not even Jesus can prove you. I mean, Jesus Christ came into the world in the physical form, and they still killed him. They still crucified him. It's the condition of the heart, man. They crucified the Lord of glory.
Fine. If that works for you, fine. Doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody.
Well,
you can't speak for everybody. All right? Because you're just interpreting the Bible.
Point of order. What do you mean? What do you mean by work? Work for? How is Christianity supposed to work for you?
No, a work.
When you're supposed to be like working for Christianity, that's what I'm confused on. Like,
actions speak louder than words. That's what I say. Actions speak louder than words. Okay.
You know what we're covering today, right, Brojo? Like the verse I was covering today is legit. 1 John 3:18, which says you show love by, not just by words, but with actions. Like it's legit. The whole kind of cool that it's coming up like this, but that's the whole intended of this video. So yes, I love that it's falling in circle.
So so what are the actions that
you're just very angry. I think you're very angry person.
What actions what actions do you have to see in my life for you to believe?
Did you not hear? Are you not hearing? Are you not hearing?
Because I do have a fallen nature, right? I do have a fallen nature, right? But am I giving you the highest love of God? I'm talking about Jesus. I'm giving you the highest love, and you can't even accept that love. You can't even accept the love that I'm giving you. That you're
the love you're giving me?
To be born
you're
again.
Giving me love? Oh no, you came out here attacking me
that's
right
the
away.
highest love.
Would Jesus do the things the way you do? Oh God.
Sometimes he did. Sometimes he did. Let's be fair.
Oh,
sometimes he did lash out. Yeah, he is human too. He is human.
Am I exchanging money in the temple? Deceitfully? No. That's the only case you see when Jesus is angry.
No, unbelief provokes.
Well, technically, is Matthew 23? Is that the one where he turns the tables? Like, is that before or after? Because Matthew 23, there's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of emotion in Matthew 23.
You know what provokes God into wrath? Unbelief. That's why they were in the wilderness.
That's his fault.
No. I would say what provokes him to wrath is those who do believe yet don't follow. That would make him more angry because you know of the Lord and yet you still choose to work in your iniquitous ways when you know the Lord's ways are wonderful. You know, not saying you per se, just those people. You, the golden you, the general you, people in general. Do that.
God flooded the earth because his followers were not behaving according to
Hold on,
his.
you're interpreting the Bible there. You're interpreting the Bible according to your own understanding. Who's interpreting the Bible? He said they were unbelievers, first of all. Noah found grace. Noah escaped that flood. And how are you going to compare Noah to the cross?
That actually is a fair point. It wasn't any law given either.
We were talking about God, not Jesus.
But how are you going to compare? Jesus existed in the beginning. Jesus existed in the beginning. Everything that God did, he did it through the Son.
Guys,
the Bible doesn't say that.
Life doesn't want to have a conversation. He just wants to preach.
Yeah, he wants to
preach.
If
I can interrupt, I'll give this about 5 more minutes or so.
Yeah, I was just tag teaming. I'm coming in for a little.
I know,
bit,
yeah.
Because he put it this way. He enjoys what he believes in. I can respect that.
I enjoy it. I love it. I'm saved, not because I choose to. I'm saved because my sins are forgiven.
But your problem is parameters. You can't respect
unless you don't repent. You gotta remember that repentance.
You cannot respect a different perspective. That's your problem. And I wouldn't forgive you. I don't forgive. I take responsibility.
What do you mean you don't forgive?
If I forgave you, you keep doing the same thing. You know that? If I forgave you, you'd be doing the same thing over and over and over. I don't forgive. I take responsibility.
Why? Why you don't want to forgive?
Because you're going to keep doing the same annoying thing over and over. And when it's explained to you and
you show forgiveness every time I do it wrong.
You're not to approach people who do not believe.
Show forgiveness at all times.
Hold up real quick, Ronan. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I apologize, but New Life, could you repeat yourself for me?
I said, if I offend you 10,000 times, you forgive me 10,000 times.
You only know that only works towards fellow Christians, and you're supposed to repent first before you're forgiven. New Life.
That's what I'm saying. He has to learn how to forgive, right? That's what I'm saying. Why not?
You have to learn how to repent.
You can't.
I change my mind every day. I change my mind every day. I do repent. I change my mind every day. I receive revelation from God. Okay, revelation, because remember, God gives you a spirit of wisdom, a spirit of revelation, and a spirit of understanding. So my mind is changed every day. So now the thing is, the guy doesn't want to forgive. That's why he has problems with his mind. That's why his mind is constantly thinking evil, because he doesn't have forgiveness in his heart. All right, once you find forgiveness in your heart, and maybe you'll be free from a lot of things. He just said that he doesn't forgive. He said.
What actions do you follow to make sure that you have that change? You see, because you might have the change in your mind, but if your actions aren't following that change, then it doesn't matter.
So you're looking at behavior, and you're not looking at faith.
Your faith is your behavior, because your actions are guided by it. So again, that's why I asked. If that action isn't followed through with faith, then how are we going to be?
Hold on. How am I behaving right now?
No different than when I first met you. You're petty.
No. But what's my behavior? Point out
talk about anything else. And the fact
that I've been talking, still doing. You're asking, and you're still doing it.
Prideful,
guiding light. Puts you in a real
pride. Did I talk about Jesus? Because that's what I was talking about, right? What's the pride is coming? It's
confidence.
Faith. If you can't see the boldness of faith, and you call that pride, then you don't know the difference between bold and pride. You don't know the difference because this whole
it's not good. It's not good to be bold. It's not good to be bold. You're supposed to be timid at heart because, again, you're allowing yourself too much confidence. I've had to correct you on some things a couple of times. You're allowing yourself too much confidence. You need to sit back and all that. Good point. Yeah.
Paul wasn't bold when he was preaching, and they were telling him.
There you go. Be careful, dog. There's always going to be the scriptures that could prove your point.
They even stoned him, and he was still not bold. They stoned him, and he was still bold. I think you're getting a little confused of boldness and pride, because I'm not even talking about how good I am for you to say that I am having pride. I'm not even talking about
you're a true believer. I don't believe you're a real Christian. I don't believe you.
Conversation about me. You trying to make the conversation about me, and I'm trying to make the conversation about Jesus. So how is that problem?
I don't know. I don't believe you.
You don't have to.
You're a Christian. You're not
in Jesus. They didn't even believe in Jesus. I don't expect you to believe in me.
You're not a Christian.
I don't expect you to believe in me. I don't expect you. You're not supposed to believe in me.
Yes, you do.
You're supposed
to
believe in a man without sin.
You would be so forceful if you didn't expect me to believe in you.
Don't believe in me. Believe in the one that died for you, was buried and rose again. If you believe in me, I'm going to fail you all the time. You believe in me, I'm going to mislead you all the time. That's why I talk about the righteousness of Jesus, because he will never mislead you. He will never lie to you. He will never tell you a lie. So you follow him. Right?
All right.
So you follow the one that died for you, right?
The problem is you're not Christ-like. That's what.
So you don't even believe in Christ for you to make that claim. Why are you trying to rebuke me when you don't even believe
you're
in him?
Supposed to be humble.
You haven't even prayed. You haven't even prayed. You haven't even read your Bible.
I might just let this go on. I don't know. I'm quite enjying it now that I'm sitting in my chair at home.
So you're going to try to rebuke me.
He's not a real Christian, Roman.
So what makes you think? See, you trying to rebuke me when you haven't even spent time with God.
They can't rebuke you.
Your face.
I don't even know if they can.
Oh, they can't. No, they can't. They can't rebuke me, especially if they don't believe in the Bible. How are you going to use the very book that you don't believe to try to rebuke me? You don't believe in the book. You don't even believe in the book, right? You don't even believe it.
Show me you're a true Christian.
You don't believe it is written for you to try to use it.
Are you a Christian?
Christ-like. You're not being Christ-like. You don't even you don't even believe in the book to be saying that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're done.
And now
are you done trying to convince everybody here?
Now you playing the judge here. Now you playing the judge, saying I'm not a believer.
Hold up, guys. Point of order. Mr. Lizard wants to say some things. Bojoba apocatastasis. Leave the non-believer alone. What about the Great Commission? Judge not, let ye be judged by the same measure ye judge others by.
I believe that you should pursue the unbeliever. If you don't want, if you have the love of Jesus.
There you go again. Like, you can't shut up and let the host of the room.
Well, thank you, Brocho. I muted him. Thank you. Well, the gift may be divided amongst the people. Prophecy can be foretelling, teaching, and counseling. Missing the mark, hence a guilt, sin, a fault, failure, sinful deed, and then I don't know if he's talking to Ivan here, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else you want me to show. And I think that's it.
So now you playing the judge, right? You calling me an unbeliever, right? And you playing the judge. And that's exactly what the Pharisees were doing. They were unbelievers, right? Claiming that they knew what the scriptures were saying.
Hold up. Who are you talking to, New Life? Are you talking about what Mr. Lizard's comments or?
No, I'm talking about that guy making claims that, I'm not in the likeness of Christ, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that's judging.
I'm judging you by your actions.
Judgment based on the book that you don't even believe.
Well, he can still judge you, just outright judge you as a person.
No.
Just saying, he can still outright just judge you as a people. Like he doesn't need the Bible just to judge people. Just saying. You don't need the Bible to judge people. People can just judge people. More so for the unbeliever.
You need to know the fruit of Jesus to judge me. And what are the fruits?
No, I'm just saying in general, people can just make judgments because that's what people can do. They don't need Christ to, and they're free to their opinion, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but for me to say that I'm not in Christ-like, hold on, but he's making a judgment that I'm not Christ-like, though. That's his judgment, right? So how does he know how Christ is like, right? If he doesn't,
because I read the Bible. Because I read the Bible and it explains how Jesus behaved with people. And you're not behaving that way. That would be Christ-like.
So Jesus,
you're not doing that.
Right? And I don't need the Holy Spirit to.
Because, hey, guess what? I'm a nobody here, but they have a good point, and you don't want to listen to them. So Christ did listen, and then he responded. He didn't just preach. He listened, and then he made a statement.
They were calling Jesus a devil. They were calling Jesus a madman. I don't care what you say.
Look, what you don't get
I don't care what you got to say.
We'll put it this way. That's your problem because you have to care if you're a Christian. Oh, he had to run. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry he had to run, but I'm glad he's gone. Anyway.
So I missed everything that was said. I was too busy reading Warhammer quotes. Something about Jesus.
I'm telling New Life that he's not a Christian. He isn't like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about something on the side. So when it comes to murder, right, for a Christian, is it the action that's wrong, like intrinsically, or is it because God doesn't want it?
Okay, the fundamentals of the Ten Commandments, it points directly to a fellow Jew. Anybody else they could kill, right? But thou shalt not kill only was implied to a fellow Jew. The obvious proof of that is the fact that the Jews asked the Romans to crucify Christ because they couldn't do it themselves.
I wasn't asking about the Ten Commandments.
No, but you said murder.
Yeah.
And I was pointing out that their perception was we can't kill a fellow Jew, but we can kill anybody else. That was their justification based on the laws of Moses. Well, the laws that were given to Moses.
Well, yeah. Well, that's why in the Jewish Ten Commandments it says kill.
Yeah, thou shalt not kill. But it was only meant for fellow Jews. It wasn't meant, for the Gentiles.
Yeah. But I'm asking, murder was like an example, right? It wasn't supposed to be about the Ten Commandments.
Murder as an example. Well, crucifixion by the Romans was an example.
Okay, but the question. Okay, let me just remove murder from my question. Is something intrinsically bad? Are things intrinsically bad, like actions, or is it bad to do something because God doesn't want it to happen?
Wait a minute.
All the Christians are God.
Well, if it happened, isn't that God commanding it anyway?
Look, you don't get into there's a bunch of theologies that gets around what you're poking at there, right? That's why I was trying to ask a Christian, but
it sounds like the opposite of is something good because God. Wait, how's that thing go? Because God says it's good, or because God is good, it's good. Isn't it kind of the opposite? What you're saying, the other end.
Well, yeah. Well, I wouldn't say it's the opposite, but it's implied because of that. If you believe that.
All right, there we go.
Oh, there's a talk. There's a Christian.
I'm back. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Kind of low, but yeah.
I'm kind of low. No, my audio got messed up. I was gonna try to talk to New Life before it left. I didn't mean to like kick him out and boot him. I was just trying to mute him, and my stuff froze, and then my is my voice sounding normal? Yeah or no?
Yeah, sound good. Sound good.
All right. My thing messed up.
But smoted.
No, it's just I didn't have it set up. I had my computer on. I didn't start it up the voice mod as I usually do.
Okay, so you didn't hear my question because
I
was
heard it.
asking-
I heard it about something about murder, and then I didn't hear it though. I didn't. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll ask again then. Is it for a Christian? Is something wrong because certain actions are just intrinsically wrong, or is something only wrong because God doesn't want it to happen?
I missed it again.
Are certain actions just intrinsically wrong, or is something only wrong because God doesn't want it to happen?
Wouldn't the answer be both? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's going to be intrinsically wrong because God, because God is.
I try to I think the more I try to answer it more, I end up putting my own bias into it, and I don't want to put my bias into it because I'd have to say safely. Just it might be both, because my bias would be that it's it's not intrinsically wrong, because if it was ultimately like intrinsically wrong, it wouldn't be a thing, right? Kind of like how we can't float away and fly, or something like that. I don't know. As in a wrong, as in it's impossible. That's how I see wrong, in a sense of impossible. But I don't know if it's possible. Then.
Okay. I would say
there's free will.
It totally depends on your theology, right? Because some people think that God made everything perfect, and then somehow, even though everything was perfect, mankind made it not perfect. Which then means there were some things that weren't good that happened, that are just wrong, and God had nothing to do with it. Like, you could believe God has nothing to do with it, and some things are just intrinsically wrong, and you could believe that because of like divine command theory that things are wrong because God is good and He says don't do them. Or you could be someone
the problem of evil again. Now we just come down to the problem of evil.
Oh no, because the problem of evil is only a problem for one particular type of Christian.
No, most Christians, no.
Mr. Lizard asks.
No, I mean, most Christians can be part of a
Numbers 35:12, and the cities have been to you for refuge under the Redeemer, and the manslayer does not die till he's standing before the company for judgment.
I'm assuming he's intending that to address my question, but I'm not quite sure.
Perhaps he's off in Lizard Land, so.
You see, I'm not even entirely sure the problem of evil is a problem for that group of Christians that people think it's a problem for. Right? Because I think in order to tell if something is evil, you would need to know the full circumstances, limits, and goals and outcomes, right? Because you're talking about a entity that.
Well, I don't know, because that's the whole thing about on the Omni thing, and how much power do we give Omni till it becomes corrupt, and we start corrupting to what God actually is, or what God's capabilities actually are. We give God all this glory that we throw at him, but what if it's like, aha, I'm just a midget like in a chair, and that's why he's invisible, because he's actually really small, or some crap like that. It's semantical and whatever. It's turn fray. I don't know. Of course, then people might have, that's my bias, so don't take that as an actual thing.
Yeah. And then there's the Christians that say something is good because God does it. Therefore, just because you think something is evil, it doesn't make it evil.
You could argue the Lord's done all the good that He's going to do already. It's already been done, and it's just playing out. Like all the good the Lord has done has been spread forth, right, in like some Calvinistic predetermined way. Because the end is we know what the end is, and we know what the or we've been alluded to what the end might be, and because I think that's a little bit safer to say. We've been alluded to what the end might be, and we know at least that outcome of what's a new this and a new that, and that's as far as the good that we see happen. Anything after that would be a mystery, unless it's just like good in perpetuity, at that point, because it's the set good and nothing's going to get better from that point on. It's just going to be coasting on that plateau, that flat line, because you couldn't achieve no more or go no higher with whatever type of creation that this might be. Deuteronomy 15:17, Potash, and the Greek word, unjustified killing of another human, homicide, man, slayer, murder, basically a murderer. Then again, evil doesn't exist.
Wait, Mr. Lizard's a Christian, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Like that. I want to know if he can dig through the Bible and tell me what unjustified is. See if the Bible says what unjustified is. Because that's like the important part of what murder is. the justification or lack thereof. Otherwise, calling something a murder doesn't mean anything.
I think it has to do with the whole, like, if you kill your brother, right? Because that's in a sense, your flesh and blood. That's the life God gave you. You're killing God's life in that sense, right? Because God gave His life to you, gave His breath of life to you. So when you slay a human like that, you're killing the life that God gave them, God's gift. You're taking that away. And why would you want to take away God's gift, that He gave to us? And it's in that. Then there is an important time, right, that the Lord has deemed where God's gift should be taken away in a sense, right? Or the laws at the time that God's gift should be taken away in the hands of people abusing that gift in some sense. This is where you play the crickets or like tumbleweed.
Oh.
I don't have those soundboard effects yet.
We need someone here just to yell, send them to Jesus. Jesus will use his punch card system to judge them.
We had New Life here. I kind of didn't want him to leave, but I just wanted to say, like, I was going to point out what you guys are pointing out about the whole, if you're not going to care about it, and if you don't care what they have to say, why even try and bother to talk to them? Because it's redundant, then you're just wasting your own time. You're wasting the Lord's time and the Lord's words. You're throwing pearls before swine. Why would you do that? Why throw those pearls before swine? It's not worth it.
No.
It's an abuse, I would say.
Are you sure it's not throwing swine before pearls?
No, I would not want to throw pigs at pearls. Unless they're like my neighbor's pearls, and then like I'm trying to get back at him, then sure. Get him, piggies. Get his pearls. Send the pigs, yep. Send the pigs.
It's just, I think there's internally, I think there's an argument to be made that even if the text is inspired by, they are the work of men, and the works of men are like rags, therefore kind of like swine. So quoting the Bible, but people are like good, right? They're God's image. Mm-hmm. So quoting the Bible to a person might be throwing swine before pearls.
Technically, from my understanding, biblically speaking, we weren't made a good creation, so to speak. You know, like if you read it in Genesis, when man was made, I don't think it was good. Just as the night was not made good, but everything else was creation.
No, man was made before he rested, as far as I remember.
What'd you say you cut out there?
As far as I remember, man was made before he rested.
Yeah. I don't know. That might just be it. Also, there might just be a textual issue. Like, it's just relative to translation, and I just might be reading off translation instead of actual.
Which kind of makes you wonder, what did Adam and Eve do on the day God rested after they were created before the rest of the narrative happens?
They rested as well. They were in T position, just T posing there. You didn't give them the switch. Well, technically, it would have just been like Adam, Eve. It would only been one. It would have been two.
Or maybe,
because they were combined.
Maybe God created man during the first days of creation, right? And narratively speaking, it makes sense that maybe Adam and Eve aren't human, because they were well, I guess because they were actually made after. No, you're right. Adam, it says he makes man, then rests. Then it goes into a narrative where God shapes Adam from the dirt, meaning human beings were created, and then separately, Adam and Eve were created. I've never heard that before. That has to be somewhere online.
Well, you it's online. It's online right now. You just
but aside from me, right? I couldn't have had a unique thought like that.
Whoever covers this, then it's going to be on their channel.
Come on, this book's been around for millennia. I couldn't have been the first one to have this idea.
I'm reading Genesis right now.
Genesis.
Nintendo Genesis. In the beginning was Nintendo. The light, creatures, and all that. Mankind. The morning of the sixth day. Yeah, it's the fifth day of creation. It's the sixth day that they. And there was the morning of the sixth day, so it's the sixth day. Thus the heavens and earth were complete and on their very way. By the seventh day, God had finished all his work. So yeah, it's the sixth day. It's not the fifth day.
Yeah, so when human beings were made, right?
Yeah, the end of the fifth in the evening.
Yeah.
Here, so people can follow along.
But the Adam and Eve story takes place after that.
In the sixth day. Like, I guess if you want to say narrative, like he made, it's the sixth day and heaven and earth completed them by the seventh day. Like it can be like a narrative, right?
But that's the thing. Does it say Adam and Eve? Like, does it specifically say Adam and Eve was created on the sixth day after mankind was made on the fifth day?
It just says man was made, and then it gives the narrative. And then God said, "Let us make mankind in our own image, so that they may rule over the fish and sea, the birds in the sky, and over the livestock, and all the wild animals, and all over the creatures that move along the ground." So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. God blessed them and said to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number. Fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish and the sea and the birds of the sky, and over every living creature that moves on the ground." Then God said, I give you every seed bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has food, that seed in it. They shall be yours for food, and to all the beasts of the earth, and all the birds in the sky, and all the creatures that move along the ground, everything that has the breath of life in it, I give every green plant food for food. And it was so. And God saw all that he had made, and it was very good. And then there was the evening, and then there was the morning, the sixth day. This is chapter 2. Thus the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array. By the seventh day, God had finished working. He had work that he had been doing. So on the seventh day, he rested from all his work. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy because it was on it he rested from all the work of creating that he had done. And then everyone likes to say that this, tidbit here in chapter 2 is just the foretelling of Revelations. The seventh day is at the start of when chap closes up, and then it goes on to Adam and Eve. This is the account of the heavens and the earth when they were created. So it's referring to the sixth day when the Lord God made the earth and the heavens, referring to the sixth day, not the seventh.
So wait, did you say mankind was made on the fifth day in the evening, though?
Yeah.
Okay, so he made mankind, and then on the sixth day he made Adam and Eve.
I believe so, yeah. No. Well, it's difficult to say because there's the two case scenarios here. The one, the pre-existing man, both male and female, right? Of giving them the earth. And again, it could just be the narrative of starting point of Adam and Eve as the one unit and then the separation. It could just be talking about them individualistically also spreading forth male and female across the planet entirely. And is that there's the separation that's, it's a different mankind. And then there's the Adam and Eve. I like that back in a bit, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I never thought about it before. That's an interesting part of that story. Interesting for the theological problems it might cause people.
Here, look, yeah. I'm reading from the NIV just because simpler English. See, the fourth day. Any morning on the fifth day. So then it goes on, right? The fifth day. This is when he makes everything is in the fifth day. And then it keeps going. Where is it?
Wait a minute. Scroll back up real quick on the fifth day. Okay. I was making sure it didn't say anything other than creatures.
Everything's in a sense creature would have to be.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm not so sure that like when the text was written, that they would have considered human beings creatures, right? That's what I'm going off of.
Well, I would have to be because, well, yes, in the Greek, the definition of creature is creation. Like it gives into that createdness. So yeah, this is the fifth day. This is what I was looking for. God created mankind in his own image. He created them. So again, it's that them. So it could be in unison, referring to Adam and Eve, or just the groups of people. And then here we go. Early in the morning was the sixth day. Then there was the evening, and then there was the morning, the sixth day. So this is all the evening. This is the evening of creation of man on the 5th day. The 6th day is when we live out our life. And then the 7th is the coming of the Lord.
Wait, go back to the 6th day real quick. The end of the 6th day. Let's see. Notice how that. Wait. Huh. Okay, on previous days, he specifically says at the end of the day that what he made was good.
Yeah.
But on this day, it says he looked over all that he made and said it was very good.
Yeah.
But doesn't. I mean, I guess that includes mankind, but it's the only one that he doesn't specifically says is good.
Yeah. And then there was the morning of the 6th day, which I think he doesn't say was good. And thus the heaven and earth were complete in all their vast. On the 5th day, everything was made good. On the 6th day, there's no good. And by the 7th, all of the rest that he's just done.
I think this implies that, yeah, I mean, people think that God created everything, and that I guess that means he created evil by consequence. But I don't think. I think that story implies that. Well, I think Genesis.
Well, number 6 is what? The devil's number, right? Which would make sense, right? The 6th day is when sin enters the world.
Well, that's the thing, right? So if God thinks everything he made is good, but there are things that do evil that exist, then that either means God thinks evil is good, or that there are things that are evil that God did not create.
Well, it goes in that whole light and darkness, right? And how much you want to. Like, I don't know if you could look at the Greek and see what they mean by, like, if they mean good and evil by light and dark with the separation.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure in that text they're literally just referring to like the sun rising and setting. That's their explanation for the movement in the heaven. I was had about it before. Yeah, no, I'm convinced that in order for that text to make sense, there has to be things God didn't create.
Oh, sorry, my mic was muted. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm stupid.
Oh, you roboted really hard. All I heard was and then.
Oh. I said I'm sorry. I dang. I had my mic muted.
Oh, okay.
My bad. I was pointing out for Mr. Blizzard. Genesis 23. Let's go back to it. And then in the evening there was the morning, the 5th day. I was explaining how this evening is the 4th day, is the evening.
Yeah.
Or is it the morning? Hold up.
No. Because it says.
because it's the morning. This is the morning of the 4th day.
Yeah.
That's
well, it's pointing out that, and there was evening and there was morning. It's pointing out that the morning is when the day ends. right? That's how the day wraps up, and then the next day starts.
And yeah, well, yeah. So I don't really know what he means by that too now, but yeah, I was showing this that and how it was the same, how it follows evening, morning creations, and then the sixth day it goes into the narrative of the account of man and man's record. They felt no shame. That's right. Sorry, I was reading on in the Bible there. The end of
Yeah. I think that implies that the serpent in the Garden of Eden is not a creation of God.
it gets weird with the whole.
I mean, you'd be hard pressed to say the serpent was good, right?
It's Peter, and then the serpent isn't not capable of good, right? The serpent.
Yeah, it's not that he's not capable, but you wouldn't say that he is good.
No,
right? I mean, murderers can help old women cross the street, but you wouldn't call a murderer good.
Yeah, in the sense that if you take it like from Revelations to with Peter, and if you attribute the ancient serpent being the fallen angel of say Hasatan or whatever, and the legion that fell down with him in just free will. They again, I think it has to do with choice, and then doing just the allowance of it.
Well, yeah, that's another thing. It never actually says God created the angels.
And what, Genesis 1?
Oh, in Genesis, I don't think it says it. Period. It says He created the heavens, but in every other case, there's a distinction between creating a place and creating the things that are in a place.
Unless you're including everything that comes with it.
But the Genesis doesn't do that, though. Like, it doesn't just say God created the earth and.
Yeah, there is that whole thing too. Stars and sun being considered angels, celestial beings, and all that. There is that odd consideration, but that I think, I don't know. Yeah, because I don't know how to follow with the cosmic logical view or whatever it's called of how they saw the stars and interpret that as like kind of how like you had constellations and all that, That might what significant role they played, because they used the whole color of the stars for most of the stones of the breastplate.
Yeah, I think it should be okay. So I think properly to understand a text, you should consider like the cultural context that what was going on when the text was written, right? I mean, Christians in general, I think, have a really bad habit of not doing that. So I mean, the things I'm bringing up might only be an issue to most Christians, but not all Christians. There might be some actual context where somewhere in there, one of those words clearly meant or clearly included angels, but just didn't explicitly state it like I would be suspecting.
I forget if it's mentioned in other whatever too. Something. I know there's stories, but there's warnings of not to.
Although some of those, I would also point out, some of those Christians that do look into the cultural context make the mistake of reading texts that are written like a century later and act as if that's the cultural context of when the first text was written.
Wiley, I'm not seeing Jubilees in the thingy. Is that non-canonical? It might be.
Jubilees. It isn't. Is Jubilees one of the Catholic books?
It might be Catholic.
I mean, don't let me say what's canonical or not, because I don't care. I think making canon out of all these separate books and then fighting about it's kind like I think it's actually pretty arbitrary for the most part.
All that matters is the facts. Some of it's just oh, it's never good. See, I think you get these websites like pseudepigrapha. That just puts it in a bad light too. What verse, my guy? Chapter 2.
It's like someone somewhere got the idea that after a certain point in time, God no longer wanted new books to be written. so many books were just left out of canon.
I mean, that kind of
because they were newer.
In some sense, it makes sense, and
Oh, does it though? Like, oh no, God only would write for a couple hundred years. Everything after that, it's not God's work because God only works for a couple hundred years at a time.
Those New Life. Here we go. We can get more of a. Thank you, New Life. This is something you can come with us at with the Genesis thing.
What happened? What about the book of Genesis?
Go ahead and explain your question, sir, if you remember it.
Like we were sitting here reading, and I think Genesis implies that there are things God did not create. Things that would have existed at the time of creation that God did not make.
Well, if you look at the book of Genesis chapter 1, there's already a creation that existed already. Now, created in Genesis chapter 1 is he began to create on the fifth day of creation. Before that, everything was made from the first day, second day, third day, fourth day. He made these things, right? He made those all those works in that creation. I mean, in those days. But on the fifth day, that's when he began to create. And in the context of creating, he's talking about male and female to bring forth children. Of course, that was on the sixth day, but also the birds and all that. He created them to, and in other words, to multiply. Right. So if you look at Genesis chapter 1,
okay, I see how it is, Todd. You're not going to pull it up and show it for the whole world to see. You just wanted to pull up your own thing. I see how it is, Todd. You are an anti-Semite, I see. It's in the second chapter and the second verse of the Book of Jubilees.
But
and as for the Book of
I
Jubilees,
believe that the waters already existed, but the waters were out of order. There was.
what I was trying to say is that the Book of Jubilees is a Old Testament BC apocryphal book.
Yeah, because I know that,
and it was in the canon.
The waters existed already.
It was created by people for the people that had the Greek Septuagint, and in some Orthodox canons today, it's still accepted.
I don't know who's interrupting.
It almost got into the Catholic canon.
Okay. So for my questions, I can ignore this because I'm talking like internally to a canon. I mean, it's interesting, right? And it might be a good reason that I brought up before. I don't know why some people just decided that certain books don't matter.
You mean the Protestants?
I bet everyone did it to some extent or another.
Gotta use that discernment.
Anyway, I'm not okay. Say I can see what he's talking about with the waters because I've thought about that before, but it doesn't say the waters was a creation or what existed before this creation in Genesis started was a creation either.
I kind of do like that whole Richard Matching approach about the waters figuratively being like the people. That does kind of work nicely. But then again, that implies it's weird because it implies that the people were there. Then again, the people were not there.
I think it's just a metaphor.
Yeah, it's like metaphorically they're there, but you know, which makes sense. Like if you think about it, right? The face hovering over the waters. Now, I like to think of it as this is all complete bias. I'm not trying to teach this or anything, but it's going to be taught this way because that's how it comes out. I do think that this is a reference to, in a sense, like this weird nod to Revelations, right? The earth was formless and empty because everything's getting broken up, you know. Fountains in the deep of the surface was hovering over the waters, which would be the spirits inside Sheol. And then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And then you get the separation of the darkness and light in that sense. And then you go through like this weird creation bit again. But then again, that's technically like a heresy. So
well, see,
that's just my weird opinion, though. Like I think it, but then that gets into like this weird reincarnation cycle thing. But yeah, I don't say that it's true. It's just an opinion that I have.
Well, see, this is what usually gets brought up to me when I bring up the waters thing, or what I brought it up in the past is, the waters is part of Earth, and even though it says the Earth was formless and empty, this usually it's usually told to it's usually I'm usually told that it's referring to land, right? There's no walking space, there was no mountains, right? It was just a water ball. I guess they don't say water ball, but that's the image that it conjures in my brain.
Yeah, that's that weird bit that like if there was no light, then everything was in darkness, so there was still material or some sense of material around in like this spatial dimension.
Well, even apparently the main Bible that the Protestants accept, and even Jubilees, said God created the darkness. And of course, I think Jubilees also states that he created what's it called, the waters.
Yeah, and the waters of the spirit.
And formless. He created formless matter, which is also called, Earth being without form, and then in Solomon being referred to specifically as formless matter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any. I mean, yeah, obviously, obviously that implies that God didn't create the darkness, right? But I'm not so sure darkness is a thing that would be a thing to be created.
You're roboting their new life.
Well, if you take Jubilees as canon, it basically states it outright, and then a couple verses that you find in what the Protestants and Catholics accept. Well, both of them actually.
Yeah, I mean, I
it
think
outright says he did it.
I think it's a fair interpretation just to say darkness is the absence of things that would be created. Right. So it would be kind of weird to say God didn't create the absence. It's like, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of victory that is for what side.
I mean, even outright states he created the abyss, of course, the heavens, the earth, the waters, and more.
Todd, what did you say about
later?
I see, Mr. Lizard. Your audio keeps going out, New Life. You muted yourself. New Life, you muted yourself. I can't unmute you. Something must be going on with your phone, buddy. Poor Frost.
Hey Tog, how's it going?
Hey, New Life, or Fifth Trumpet. How you doing? Forgot to introduce you there. I was reading this. The only reason why I'm so reluctant to bring it up, Mr. Lizard, is because I haven't covered the Book of Jubilees. And I'm uncomfortable showing something that I've never looked at before. And then presenting it, because again, I haven't gone through the Book of Jubilees. So I don't also trust it because I haven't read through it to go through it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense too.
But
Yeah.
what were you just looking
Hey
at?
Todd.
Yeah. Genesis.
Hey Todd. So you can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So what did you say about the water symbolizing people? Again?
Oh, it just seems like that. Because it can't be used.
I think this is more about your creation. I don't think it's symbolizing people. At this people and uses like examples of water, like I think is in. I think that God has I believe that creation, and he also has a temporary creation.
New Life, you're like robot.
So I believe that the waters existed.
It's like your thing keeps coming in and out of signal.
All right, Tog.
Yeah. What's up, Fit Trumpet? How you been? It's been a while.
Couple things. One, have you heard from Richard Madsen?
I have not. No.
Okay. Well, why are you going through this chapter?
Severus brought it up.
Okay.
He had a question about because I think he was under the impression, and I might be wrong here, but that mankind was made on the 6th day.
Right.
And I was like, well, no, it's made on the 5th day, and the 5th evening, in the 5th night, not the 5th day, but in the 5th night. And then I was just showing him that because he was gonna go down the whole.
Who said that?
Serb. But he was going to go down the whole how it looks, or at least this is what I thought. Again, I don't know if he was, but I thought, let's make mankind in our image and our likeness. If there was mankind created before Adam and Eve, and it's like, well, if you look at it that way, it could just be talking about creation in general on the 5th day, because it talks about, where is it at? 6th day, everything, and then there was the evening, and then there was the morning, the 6th day. The morning of the 6th day is after.
I don't believe that, man.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, I'm surprised to hear.
Are you talking?
Well, I'm talking the 5th trumpet. Hold up, New Life.
Were you talking about me?
No.
Yeah, I mean,
no.
I
Sir,
agree. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, 5th trumpet.
I agree with that. I mean, I'm surprised to hear somebody say that because a lot of people don't really understand that.
So I believe that the man was formed on day.
Was formed what? You're still roboting there, New Life.
I believe that God formed the man on the 3rd day of creation.
The 3rd day?
Yeah, God formed the man on the 3rd day. Yes. Because he formed him before the garden. Before the garden was planted, God formed the first man already. The first man and on the 3rd day, God divided the 4 foundations of creation, which is time. On the 3rd day, God finished dividing the creation with four foundations of creation: time and the waters. On the 3rd day, he finished dividing the 4 foundations of creation, and on the third day, that's when he began his work. He formed man, and then he planted the garden, and then he made the sun and the moon and all that on the fourth day. So yeah, on the third day, the man existed already before the garden.
Well, it doesn't say that. Even in this new
Yeah, that's why
NIV.
if you go to Genesis chapter 2, well, if you go to Genesis chapter 2, right? If you start from verse 4, he says, "These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created in the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens." So he's talking about here the foundation, right?
It's
And then
talking
he says,
about
"And every plant." What was it?
I was talking about it's talking about the sixth day in verse 4. Because it's talking about the account that they have in
it's
the earth
actually
when they
talking
were
about the
created. And then if we go back onto where the sixth day says, God saw all that he made was very good, and there was the evening and the morning, the sixth day. Because he had made man following up after everything. So as he made man, the sixth
because
day,
on the third day,
thus the heaven and earth were created. And this is still within the sixth day in chapter 2. Still within the sixth day. And then by the seventh day, it's foretelling, the foreshadowing.
no,
God had finished all the work he had been doing in the
no,
sixth day. He rested from all his work.
no, because if you go to verse, no, if you read chapter verse 5, it'll tell you what day was it. That's why I was going there. He says, "These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created in that day," right? That the Lord God made the earth and the heavens and every plant of the field before it was in the earth. So on the sixth day, the plants already existed. So this cannot be talking about the sixth day. This is talking about before the plant existed. Okay? Before
Which version
it was
are you
in the
reading?
earth.
We're reading
And
different versions.
King James. No, King James. Okay, before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, right? So this is talking about the third day. For the Lord God has not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to tilt the ground. But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. And the Lord God formed the man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And the Lord God planted, see, now he's planting the garden, and planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there in the garden he put the man who he has formed. See, so the man was already formed, and he placed him there in the garden. So the man was formed before the garden. So this is actually talking about the third day, because in the third day, that's when God formed the garden.
Okay, so when you say form, are you talking that about a physical manifestation or metaphysical? Because it can be interpreted, it's more or less metaphysical in that
Well,
aspect.
right here is physical
Just
form.
talking about it, it's
Physical form. This is talking about a physical, plants, herbs, rain, earth, ground, man, evidence of physical form. There was no form. The earth was without form. The heavens had no form. That's why on the second day, God did not say it was good. He didn't say nothing about being good on the second day. When he divided the heavens, when he made the firmaments to divide the water from above the waters. And so the foundations were not finished, and the earth had no form. The foundations had no form. So this is talking about the third day, not the sixth day. The sixth day, he created the woman. He created male and female. So the form of Adam was not finished until the sixth day. So, and then he begins to mention the garden, how beautiful the garden is. And there was 3 different types of trees. There was the tree of the flesh, which it was supposed to nurture the desires of the flesh, and then there was the tree of life, which is a revelation of to live forever, and there was a tree of knowledge of good and evil, which is a revelation of death.
What do you think about what he's saying, Fifth Trumpet?
So there's types of trees here.
Well, I mean, that last part was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You guys were talking about the very beginning part, but I was going to comment on that. But do you have any questions, Tog? What part is confusing you, or do you think?
Huh? Oh no,
Do you have any?
I'm not being. Yeah, it's. I didn't bring this up. Yeah, it just started up on as a topic.
Yeah.
So this is just a topic. Yeah.
Now, could I ask you a question? You know, on because there's a false teaching. I believe there's a false teaching going around where people. I'm not saying they're unbelievers, because a serpent was an enemy before Adam. Do you believe that the serpent was an enemy before Adam, before the woman was created?
Well, yeah. I think that has to do with the whole free will bit of it.
Well,
the man did not have a free will in the beginning until the woman was tempted, until the woman fell into sin. Because the will of the man was to serve.
I wasn't talking about the free will of the man. I was talking about the free will of the serpent.
Oh, because right here, a lot of people believe to take this out of context. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, he says, "And the Lord God took the man, put him into the garden, right, of Eden, to dress it and to keep it. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, Of every tree of the garden thou may eat, freely eat." Now, when they say keep it, they thinking that God is telling Adam there's an enemy in the land. Basically, there's an enemy, and this is not talking about an enemy. See, God did not create the serpent to be an enemy in the beginning.
So
the serpent became an enemy.
So you're saying, hold up, let me run this by you. Because I'm trying to understand, and I'm kind of listening to what you're saying right now, but I'm still thinking about what you said. You're saying if this is the third creation, and the sixth, the form of man is being
creation
as
on the third day. I didn't say third creation, third day. Yeah, third day, not
third day of creation. I'm
day.
sorry, third day of creation. My bad. I misspoke. Third day of creation, man was formed. Let me find it. Hold up. So we'd have to go paraphrase back to 2. So we could, if water goes from like human in that aspect, right? Hovering over the waters, with man in creation, right? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was formless and empty, and darkness was over the sea, surface of the deep, and that's usually referring to as water of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. Waters, if we apply that to be like in creation, human. And then he's separating the light and then the darkness. This is the first day. And, this is where man comes in the sense if we're metaphorically talking about man. God said, "Let the vault between the waters separate the waters from water." So if this waters, if you're implying that from, like, besides salt and fresh, and male and female, so God made it the vault separated waters under the vault from the waters above it, and it was so. Well, maybe not, because it's talking about whatever. But I'm trying to say, if it's metaphorically speaking of creation of man, right? Because maybe it's interpreting literally and metaphorically. Because I'm trying to find where man's being made here, maybe in a term or in a word. God said, "Let the water be."
Well. That's the mystery right there. Because if you read the third day, let's read the third day real fast. At verse
That's what I'm
9,
going
and God
to.
said,
Right?
"Let the waters under the heaven, be
Go
gathered
ahead.
together
Sorry.
unto one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering of the waters he called the sea. And God saw that it was good. God said, "The earth bring forth grass, the herbs of yielding seed, and the fruit trees yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth." And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass and herbs yielding seed after his kind, and the trees yielding fruit, whose seed is in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. Now, okay, right here he's focused on the garden. And the reason that he's focused on the garden here is because this is where God began to multiply. He still didn't have him multiply man until the sixth day. So right here, the trees were blessed to multiply. Okay. In chapter 2, Adam was formed before the garden. So Adam already existed before God even said, "Let the earth bring forth grass." Because if you go to chapter 2, he says, "And the Lord God um, uh, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward." So the man existed already. The man was already formed in the garden. There, he put the man who he has formed. See? So there, in the garden, which is there, he placed the man, and he put the man who he has formed. So the man was already formed before the garden. Genesis chapter 2, he's focused on multiplying. He's focused of every tree multiplying at kind.
But yeah, even
and
in
then
that,
he does not.
Go back to one. You go back to this one.
On the sixth day, he multiplied. He multiplied man. So if you look at it,
I was going to bring into account
chapter 1.
I was going to bring into account. The more you go into 2, it talks about like the name of the animals, right? And he talks about the separations of the waters or whatever. But where is it? And then I will find a helper for you because not.
Let me ask you a question before I let you go. Can I let ask you a question real fast?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. You there? Hello, New Life? I think he left the building.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he did. God bless, brother. I mean, that's interesting. I mean, I can kind of see what he's saying there. Because if you follow that up, right, the plants are being treated and man's being made. But then he talks about like how the gardens, all the animals are being introduced to him. And Adam's naming it. Adam in the sense of one, both Adam and Eve in one before they're separated, because that's kind of like what we see with the birds being whatever, but then he's making the nights in the sky. So that's the only thing really that doesn't really fit in. Is that?
Yeah,
See,
I mean,
it's pretty good up until that point. It really is. It's good up until that point, and then it kind of loses that because it's not mentioned in 2 about the lights, the stars. If it was alluded maybe in 2, I could perceive it better, but I see where it's going. It does make sense, and that separation does kind of fit well. Within the 6th day, they're separated. In a literal translation, that is.
Yeah.
For the actual 6th day, I'm more the evolutionary 6th day being ages type of person.
Well, a lot of people always say that, chapter 2 is kind of recapping chapter 1 or going back into chapter 1. But I disagree with that because no other time in Genesis does it ever do that. It's always moving forward quickly. So I'm not buying this recapping or going back. I'm just not.
The only thing I can
So
take
that's
it,
why, Tog, it doesn't, at some point it breaks down. It doesn't make sense.
yeah,
Go ahead.
I like the way I see it is like it takes place of everything happening at the 6th day because the 7th is yet to happen. For my, that's why I said that by the end of it, when it talks about the 7th day, that's the revelation of it all. When everything.
Now, the other point I would make is that he was saying something about the tree of life and the tree of death, right? The tree of the knowledge of good and evil basically said that. So I would take that one step further and bring it all the way back to the light and the darkness, because that's what the light and the darkness is throughout the Bible. The light of life and the darkness of deception and death. Now, everybody tries to make this light and darkness a science project when it's more of a spiritual thing. Like, in other words, here is the salvation plan from day one. You have death on the earth and light above the earth, the heavenly, heaven and hell. So to speak. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, actually. Yeah, because even in that sense, even in the evening, there was the evening during the 5th day in that sense of mankind, and then it was the morning, and it's not mentioned that it was good. It's just that it's the 6th day, and then it's all was the 6th day. And in the 5th, it was in the 5th day that he said, "Is it right in the 5th day? Am I looking at the right thing? Hold up." It said the 5th day.
Now, if you want
Oh,
to
yeah.
take it, go ahead.
On the 5th day. In the 5th day, God saw everything that he had made, and it was good. And then there was the evening, and then the morning was the 6th day. 6th day, there's no mention of it being good. Again, just which would make sense if the 6th day is mankind's history in that sense, and how we sin within the 6th day of creation, so to speak.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but what I'm saying is that's what you're calling the sin was already there because it's the darkness. That's the problem that you're saved from, is that darkness, that deception. Satan, basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say the adversary,
Yeah. Now, if you want to take this one step further, do you want to take it a half a step further?
Hold up. Let me see what time it is. I actually probably should get off because it's about to be 11
All right.
o'clock. I need to hang out with
All
my
right.
kids. What are you doing later? Because I would love to continue this.
I'm free. I don't have much going on.
All right,
I'll give you my email if you ever want to send me a link and we can do one of these.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay. It's called King David Slays the Giant at gmail.com.
All right. I hope I got that right.
Right on.
All right, man. Well, thank you for stopping by. It was a good fellowship while it lasted.
Okay. Cool, man. Are you gonna sign off?
No, I'm just gonna end it. Take care, though. God bless. God bless
right.
everyone in the side chat. Take care.
Okay.
Thanks for stopping by.